1 minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He thinks Frisbee golf is the sport of the future. She's sticking with football. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Chiefs get a scare last night. Hey, welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Our first show in this time slot. So glad to have you, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We'll introduce ourselves more as we get going, but we had a great game last night, Perloff. Improbably.
Yeah, you say they got a scare, but were they really scared at any point of that game?
Yes, they actually were scared.
No.
The only problem, and the Chiefs obviously escape with a 23-20 win. They take over after a Zach Wilson fumble of the snap. They're able to salt away the game going on a drive that lasted almost 8 minutes. It was impressive because Patrick Mahomes had to be Superman. He and Isaiah Pacheco were essentially the offense last night for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's a reminder that the Jets' defense is for real. It's a reminder that Aaron Rodgers wasn't wrong when he looked at the New York Jets and thought, hey, maybe I can win here. But for the Kansas City Chiefs, if only the Jets actually had something on offense that could make them pay, it would have been even scarier. I thought the Chiefs kind of had to stare down themselves last night. And listen, Mahomes is Superman, and he proved that last night.
This is a good starting point for our show in the new hours, 6 to 10 a.m., because this is our difference. I don't believe in moral victories and sort of a loss that counts as a win for the Jets. The Jets were down 17-0, and the Chiefs completely took their foot off the gas. They could have won that game 40-0, but they just went into a coma because they were obsessed with Taylor Swift up in the booth.
Yes.
They had them. That game was not nearly as close to the final score. And I'll say this, because the Chiefs are such a better team. But sometimes that happens when you jump out to an early lead, just let go. And then if Patrick Mahomes running, the Jets were in man coverage the whole time. They weren't looking at him. He had no choice but to run. They were giving him the run. They could have won that game 10 different ways. I don't think it was nearly as close as the score.
Okay, so how you will not give teams moral victories, I also will not let teams off the hook by saying, oh, they got up to a big lead and then they took their foot off the gas and then found themselves in a dogfight, because really great teams don't do that. Now, credit for the Chiefs for pulling this out, but to just all of a sudden get lackadaisical when you're on the road in a really raucous-looking environment, I mean, that's something that is a negative, actually, on the Chiefs, right?
Not really, because sometimes this happens with Patrick Mahomes. He gets really loose. He was so comfortable early in the game, hitting every pass, and then he just got cocky. I mean, he did. He was throwing balls. He basically had 2 interceptions, should have been a third. He thought he could do anything, and I think he finally realized at the end, he's like, whoa, I better tighten this up. And in the last drive, you saw the real Patrick Mahomes. So, no, I don't worry about the Chiefs moving forward just because they made this a close game. It was on the road. It was a night game. Again, they're up 17-0. Did you think at that point that the Chiefs were going to be in any trouble? Probably not.
I did not, but, here's the thing, because I have no confidence in Zach Wilson on the other side.
Right.
And I think that as good as a drive looked coming out of halftime that made this a game and some other nice throws, because the Jets have never done anything to address the quarterback situation after Aaron Rodgers went down in a heap in week 1, they will never be taken seriously here. The defense could be all world. They could be otherworldly. He is such a liability on that side. And I know his head coach was saying, oh, he's played better now and this is more maturity. Cool. A couple good throws. That does not make a playoff team, and that doesn't make a team that even can scare anybody to think they're going to the playoffs.
I totally agree with that. But you said that Aaron Rodgers chose rightly with the Jets. But
I thought so.
But
I was thinking that last night.
Right. They're 1-3 right now. Next year, he's going to come back. He's going to be a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles tear.
Yeah.
Do you really feel hopeful that this Jets team, knowing the history of the franchise, really is ever going to be able to do anything right? Because I don't care if they play the Chiefs tight. I don't care if Zach Wilson has a decent season. I do not see the path towards a championship with this team almost ever. I hate to be cynical, but it feels like the Jets can never get out of their own way. And the fact that we're celebrating a close loss says a lot to me. Like, that's what we expect out of them. They were home.
I don't think anyone's celebrating it. I think it's more about... Man, I was watching last night. I'm like, they actually do have the tools. They actually do have the tools if only they had Aaron Rodgers to sort of rising tide that lifts all the boats. I think that would have been an even scarier game because maybe the Chiefs aren't out to a 17-0 lead at that point. Maybe there's actually a little bit more of a back and forth. I don't think you're ever getting into shootouts because the Jets defense is really good. But with Rodgers back there, I mean, he's up in the suite watching. It was like you could almost taste it like what could have been. They would have been formidable.
But that's fiction, just like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's relationship. Aaron Rodgers is not out there. This is a made-up story. It's not going to happen for Jets fans. It just, they always find a way to have something go wrong. And I feel like last night was another example. They finally start getting things going. Then Zach Wilson fumbles a snap. There's a kind of a questionable holding call on Sauce Gardner at the end. Something about this team just seems to find bad luck. And I wasn't surprised how that game played out.
I'm glad you said fiction, just like the Kelce and Travis Swift. Listen, if NBC can address this all night, I think we can, starting our very first show here in the morning.
You just said Kelce and Travis Swift.
Excuse me, Kelce and Taylor Swift. Is there? I felt like a mark last night. I thought there was maybe a shade of a possibility that maybe this relationship could have been real. It's not. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
My first instinct was right. It's not real.
Yeah.
Because they're playing commercials for her whatever, like movie that's going to be coming out in theaters about her tour almost at every commercial break. I'm like, oh, this is one massive publicity stunt. We are all marks here.
Well, to be fair, it's not just her. There's one Taylor Swift commercial followed by two Travis Kelce commercials.
True.
One for the
He's got
COVID
a
vaccine and another for some financial product. So how can we take love seriously when there's three commercials and a break? And then you get Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds in the booth who are obviously promoting Deadpool 3.
Sure.
So I know you're not a Marvel person. For me, this is a big deal. Yeah, I like that you said we're a mark because I believe in love. You know that about me, Maggie.
You're such a sap.
I'm a sap, but this is too many commercials.
You're a sap. I'm the cynic usually. And now we both find ourselves aligned here on the same page. Like my eyebrows always raised, like the radar's up. Perloff wants to believe in love. He's watching The Golden Bachelor. He believes that, second chances, all of that. I'm like, it's just so clear as day. This thing, they just put it on way too thick.
But I wonder, though, now that they're sort of going down that road, do they actually have to get married to complete this marketing campaign?
Just to pay it off.
I feel like Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, everyone thinks this is fake. How do we prove them wrong? Let's get married. I mean, she's already been with his mom at two different football games. They seem pretty far down that road.
And I got to be honest, we're big Kelce fans here. Everyone's going to learn that Perloff is a diehard Philadelphia Eagles fan. So there's a lot of Jason Kelce love. And of course, everybody loves Donna. We all love Donna. But it feels like she's even a tool in this thing. She's like, they're sitting her next to the State Farm guy. She's promoting the podcast.
Yeah, and she has an Amazon documentary about the Kelce family. There's way too much corporate interest here.
What are we doing, guys? I mean, what a bunch of suckers we are. They're seeing us coming. We're scooping up this content.
Yeah. I mean, you can believe in the Jets. You can believe in Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce. It's all fake. It's all fake.
It's Bigfoot. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We are the type of radio show that likes to hear from you. So if you would like to be a part of the show, let's go. 855-212-4CBS. That's not the only way that you can get in touch with us. We, as much as the sounds of our voices and the theater of the mind is really what we're all about here on CBS Sports Radio as we say hello to our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates. You can watch the show.
Right.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can find the Weedos. Now, the Weedos, the diehard Maggie and Perloff fans from when we were on in the afternoon, I assume if they're all drunk and high in the afternoon, they're probably drunk and high in the morning.
I don't know
assumption?
I don't know if we're going to see the Weedos at this hour.
They're already in the chat.
Are they really?
They are. They're up and at 'em.
Impressive.
And, of course, all of the D-aliens who are big fans of the DA show. Nobody was bigger fans of DA than us. We love DA. We're friends with him in real life. Everyone on the show, you're going to hear from Andrew Bogusch in just a little bit. Pete Bellotti is here. Kaplan is behind the scenes. Pat Boyle is here. We've got it all. It's like we just slipped right in for DA.
Yeah, I feel like we have two audiences now, DA and ours. Yep. I can't believe that our guys are up at this hour. I'm so impressed.
Yeah, it is pretty impressive. Again, 855-212-4CBS. Now, I got to tell you, you guys are going to find out that Perloff is a massive Eagles fan.
Right.
And you're going to find out that I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I have been my whole life from upstate New York, and nobody chooses the Bills. I know they're great now, but they were like bad for like 20 years, most of my life. Setting up real nice here for the Bills.
Yeah.
Setting up real nice. Watching Mahomes struggle last night against the Jets, something that the Bills also did in week 1 and always do. And I'm looking around at the rest of the AFC. I'm seeing Joe Burrow is obviously hurt. I'm looking at Kenny Pickett, left the game yesterday. Deshaun Watson didn't even play. I know the Jags were good, but that's against the Falcons. Let's see what's going on with Jacksonville. You got Justin Herbert now with an injured hand, even though they won yesterday. Like, things are looking a little bit more wide open in the AFC. It's not all these juggernaut teams. Obviously, the Dolphins are still very good, even though the Bills beat them yesterday. This is setting up quite nicely here for my Bills.
Let's establish something right now for the new time slot. I am not going to root for your teams. I'm going to root for against them because I walked in this morning and Maggie's smile, I just kind of drove me nuts. You know, my Eagles won too. My Eagles won too, and nobody cared about that. And you're walking in, and we just blew out the Dolphins, all happy. It was terrible.
It was lovely. It doesn't mean much, but it was lovely. It does. I'll explain. We'll get more into it. Again, 855-212-4CBS. Let's waste no time. You guys are here on the phones. Let's get to you. How about our pal Phil is in Pennsylvania. Phil, our very first guest here on the morning show. How you been, bud?
I'm awesome, and that's exactly why I called in this morning. I still have drool on the pillow. I got crusties in my eyes, but there's no place I would rather be than talking to you guys.
Phil, too kind. What did you think about your birds yesterday?
Well, I don't like it that, they're struggling so much, but it's actually a very good thing because, you can only have diamonds if there's pressure. And the pressure of, being down by double digits, being down by 7 at halftime, and then coming back, and then also having overtime, this is going to set up nicely later in the year. Last year, the Eagles won by, if they take away the pass, they run the ball a lot, or if they take away the run, they pass a lot. That's what the Eagles have been doing this year. A lot more sloppily, granted, but still that's the way they've been doing it. So I am very hopeful about the future for this year for the Eagles.
Phil,
Phil, I have your Randall Cunningham jersey back in my office. What if, instead of giving you that back, I get you a Jalen Hurts jersey? Because he's won 21 out of his last 22 games. The only other quarterback to ever do that is Patrick Mahomes. I think you're ready for a Hurts jersey. Will that be a fair deal?
That will not be a fair deal. But actually, I just got Eagles tickets to the Eagles-Miami game, so I'll be down in Philly in a few weeks. Day before my birthday, Sunday Night Football. Can't wait for it.
Phil, we still have the Cunningham jersey. Great for you checking in, or great for us. We appreciate it. Thank you. The backstory here is that Phil sent us a Randall Cunningham jersey because Perloff's obsessed. It's sick. It's pretty sweet. It's hanging in our office in the back. And he asked if we could get it signed by Randall Cunningham.
Right.
So far, we haven't run into Randall. I don't know when we're going to. We thought we might.
Well, Randall, you can find in Vegas. So if we go out for the Vegas Super Bowl or the F1 in a month, I'm sure Randall will be there. You're right. I'm just desperately trying to hold on to that jersey. I thought that deal would get him. I offered him a brand new Hurts jersey. Wasn't enough?
No sale. That Cunningham jersey is pretty sweet. Meanwhile, Jalen Hurts looking fine. Not exactly the same. And the whole thing about like Philadelphia feeling the pressure now and the pressure, builds diamonds or what Phil said there. You had a team that was in the Super Bowl last year. Do you really need the adversity? You've proven to yourself that you can get through adversity, haven't you?
Adversity? There's 2 4-0 teams in the entire league, and Philadelphia is one of them. What are we talking about here?
Took overtime against the Commanders yesterday.
A win is a win. What is with all this how you won? What's the difference? They're 4-0.
Brad is in Sacramento. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning.
How you
I want
been?
to congratulate you for taking over for DA. That's cool.
Thank you very much. What do you have on your mind?
My Raiders, when are they going to fire Josh McDaniel? I mean, is there any word out there about that or anything?
I mean, today would be a fine day. I think
God, I
today
love it.
Today would probably be the perfect day. His coach, some of the coaching decisions that he makes, I mean, going back to last week, but even this week, it's mind-boggling. Also, how come they couldn't find Devontae Adams until like the last drive of the game, basically?
I have no idea. I've just been sticking with it. I don't know what the owner's thinking. We need to do something bad.
Man, you know what, Brad? We're going to see about not just McDaniels, and thank you for the phone call and for the well wishes. We're going to see about McDaniels, Eberflus, this guy. We're going to see, I mean, I know they won yesterday, but Brandon Staley.
Ooh, the loser of that game, the Raiders-Chargers, I assume is in danger.
Well, I mean, McDaniels should be in danger.
What about my Pittsburgh Steelers, Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator? Can he last?
Oh, my goodness.
And Vance Joseph in Denver, the defensive coordinator, there could be some firings today.
I would not be surprised. We've got our ear to the ground on everything. Pat, what do we got here? I'm told there's a surprise caller on the line.
That's right. Wanted me to censor their name and the state. So they are very excited. They're not a morning person, but they got up for you guys.
The name and the state. Can you give us a hint?
It's Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, he's calling to defend himself. He's royally ticked off.
Welcome, Matt.
And how do you defend kicking the field goal? Okay, they're going for it, rather, not kicking the field goal. Here, let's go to our surprise caller on the first day of the Maggie and Perloff morning show. Hello, caller?
Good morning, everyone. Hey, this is not a test.
Wow.
This is Maggie and Pearl. Welcome to the morning time slot, you two.
Nick.
How are you
Nick in
awake?
Texas.
Nick in Texas is one of our biggest friends and fans. He has a lot of interaction with this show. He runs our unofficial Facebook page, which is awesome. It's called The Perloffs. Nick is responsible for a lot of the artwork you'll see in the studio. So much.
Nick was trolling me all day yesterday because the Commanders were beating the Eagles.
Yeah.
All day. And look who won there, Nick.
Oh, that was such a close game, but I just wanted to make sure that you were still up. I didn't know if you had to go to bed that early, you had to be able to get up for this time slot, but
Yeah.
I did want to say hello to all the Weedos and coffee drinkers, to everybody that's listening in the morning time slot now. I can't wait to meet you guys. These guys are amazing. You guys are going to love taking on all of their ideas and whatever they're trying to go against the grain for. But, yes, I'm up. I had to make sure I was here for your first morning show.
Nick.
I was trying to be your first guest. But, hey, I'm here. I'm awake, and I'm ready for the week.
All right. Nick, you can go back to bed now. That was so lovely. Thank you for surprising
Thank
us.
you,
I have two questions for you, though.
Yeah,
I
go
have
ahead.
two questions real quick. All right, so what does your new routine look like now
Oof.
that you're having to do this? And what is your go-to pickup to get you going in the morning?
Okay. I
I'll
love
tell
it.
you right now, I wake
Nick,
up.
thank you, dude. Great to hear from you. We'll
Yeah.
also get into a little bit later. There's some outstanding bets that Perloff has with Nick, and Perloff lost the bet.
Yeah.
And
I got to wear something.
it's gonna be exciting
So I
for me.
set my alarm for 4 a.m. and woke up on the hour every hour from 11 o'clock on
Yep. Me too.
in a state of sheer panic.
Yep. My panic attack actually started Saturday night when
Yeah.
I woke up in the middle of the night thinking it was Monday morning.
Me too.
And rushing around and waking up my husband and starting to brush my teeth and thinking, why don't I remember anything from the Jets-Chiefs game?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, because it didn't happen yet, Mag.
Your panic attack is better than mine. I woke up on Saturday night and said, wait, is it Monday morning? But I didn't get out of bed and brush my teeth.
I did.
Your poor husband.
I woke him up out of such a deep sleep that even he didn't realize that he was just like, what can I do to help you? I'm like, give me water. I don't know. Something. I got the wrong day. How cool. Nick in Texas calls us on our first day. Phil in Pennsylvania. Brad checking in. We have more people on the phones. 855-212-4CBS. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where the Weedos, now instead of purple drinkers, the coffee drinkers
Oof.
this early. Love it. We'll get to our new routines and our go-tos throughout the course of the day. But we're just excited. Thank you for being along with us on our first morning show. Coming up, we got the craziest moment from Sunday. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show, now in the mornings. I'm Andrew Perloff. She is Maggie Gray. We're so excited to be here. There's a great tweet, and I'm sorry, I don't know who put it out there, but someone said, would you stop showing that attention-seeking person in the stands all game long at the Jets-Chiefs? Enough Aaron Rodgers, not Taylor Swift. Aaron Rodgers was there. I thought he looked amazing for a guy who's coming off an Achilles tear, and they started off the show by saying that Melissa Starr gave a report that he's going to try and play this year. They're 1-3. I don't really think that's realistic, but it is interesting to see him there.
It was smart for him to be there, I guess, to show some solidarity. I think that he was there to try to beat Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I know. That's your theory.
I had this theory last week. As soon as we saw him on crutches, spotted in L.A. somewhere, I was like, oh, this guy's coming to the game. He's going to try to meet Taylor. This is going to be some kind of love triangle. I got the first part right. He was at the game. I don't know about everything else. 855-212-4CBS. But yeah, him trying to come back. I know Rodgers said, like, he wants the doubters. Count me as one of them. I don't care if I give him that bulletin board material or motivation or whatever. 40 years old, Achilles, to come back this season, not happening.
Well, I wasn't worried about Aaron Rodgers hitting on Taylor Swift. I was more worried about Zach Wilson and Donna Kelsey, maybe later in the show, or if Taylor's mom is around.
We do know Zach Wilson has his preferences. Brad is in Alabama. Hey, Brad, how are you?
Good morning. How are y'all?
We're doing excellent. What's on your mind?
Well, first off, I just wanted to brag on my Chiefs a little bit. You know, a win's a win, ugly, pretty, a lot or a little, it don't matter. It's a win.
There you go.
And kind of like my Alabama Crimson Tide, you know, hey, win's a win.
Yeah.
But I do want to stress one point to you,
yes,
Maggie. I remember the 4 in a row Buffalo Bills that went to 4 straight Super Bowls, so please don't get your hopes too high.
Brad, we're 25 minutes into the new time slot. You had to bring up the 90s.
Preach, Brad.
Well, and the thing is, I actually want Buffalo to win one because I was hanging every year on that, oh, we're going to win it. They're going to win it. And it wasn't a we thing because I've always liked the Chiefs through the ups and downs or whatever. I've always liked the Chiefs for some reason.
Yeah.
Because we don't have a team in Alabama, I guess. And the closest thing is the Falcons, and who in their right mind would go for Atlanta?
Actually, Brad, you're going to learn something about this show. And thank you for the call. And it sounds like you and I are going to be probably going back and forth all season long, which I love because Bills and Chiefs has turned into a nice rivalry. Bills just have to beat them a couple times in the playoffs to make this a real rivalry. But Brad's going to learn, and everyone might learn, a couple of things on this show that are unassailable. Just commandments for this show, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Thou shalt not bet on the Falcons, ever.
Absolutely.
For, against, over, unders, total, spreads, whatever. You cannot bet on the Falcons, even if you're betting against the Falcons. That's a commandment.
That's rule number 1.
And the other commandment is thou shalt not bet against Joe Burrow.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that anymore.
Yeah.
By the way, Brad, some strategy. If you really want to get to Maggie, she was way too young for the 4 straight Super Bowl losses, but the 13 seconds, that one is fresh. If you really want to get to Maggie, just bring up the squib kick, 13 seconds, and you'll achieve your goal.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for that. I was, I already got to wake up in the middle of the night now. Now you're bringing up 13 seconds.
I just want to inform callers if Maggie gets too cocky about the Buffalo Bills, you have a lot of material to choose from about their past failures. So make sure you keep it recent.
Yeah, thank you for everyone to just get a checklist of what they can come after me about. Okay, time for us to turn our attention to someone who Perloff just had to get a head start in reaching out to Andrew Bogusch, who's joining us with all the latest headlines. Bogusch, sometimes we refer to Perloff as a sad dad. I think he had the ultimate sad dad move with you, right?
Well, if he's the sadder dad than me, then I'm already winning in this new setup. But yeah, I mean, I'm sitting here in my house yesterday, getting all pumped for the new show. You and I were texting as a group about ideas, and then my my FaceTime buzzer goes off, and I see it's from Andrew Perloff. I'm like, all right, here's my new best friend. What are we going to talk about? No, it was just a butt dial. Never mind. See you later.
So I had a very difficult night last night. There are texts flying around, and we have a whole new crew here, and I don't have everyone's name in my contacts. So I'm like, wait, who's this 917? I was trying to figure out whose number was who. So I was putting you into my address book. And when I put you into my address book, I guess I hit FaceTime. So it was because we had just been texting. I'm so sorry about that. But I think we had a really nice conversation.
What angle did he get? Was it like the under the chin angle, or was it something random? Because that's a tough angle right under the chin.
Well, I think he realized he was doing it after the fact, so he was prepared to see me when I picked up, which I wasn't sure if I should pick up or not, because I'm not a FaceTime guy, so I thought it was an accident. I'm like, oh, let me just pick it up in case this is how Perloff rolls. And we were both right there. He complimented me. I complimented him on our looks. So, I mean, it did work out in the end, but the thought is what counts, and he wasn't actually trying to talk to me last night.
Well, what if I was in the bathroom or something? That could have gone drastically awry.
Yeah.
But, by the way, I think this is something we do every night now. I'm going to FaceTime you 8 o'clock every night. Are you ready to go?
I mean, should I sing you a lullaby? You having trouble falling asleep? I could, lay it down, tuck you in.
Hear that?
Wow.
Don't worry. Maggie's just jealous that she wasn't in on this FaceTime.
Yeah, kind of. Also, if you FaceTime me, I will not pick up.
And actually, Bogusch, to be honest, I think it was a three-way FaceTime. I think you were on the FaceTime, Maggie, because we had just the three of us been texting.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking that up. I don't get the people this is young people today, younger than me people, who only want to FaceTime. I don't understand.
They won't talk on the phone, but they'll FaceTime.
It makes no sense to me. All right, Bogusch, you're here with all of our latest headlines. What do you got for us?
And it's all sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive makes bundling easy and affordable. Get a multi-policy discount by combining your motorcycle, RV, boat, ATV, and more. All your protection in one place. Bundle and save at Progressive.com. We are deep in the heart of what Pat Boyle calls spooky season, so the Chiefs were probably scared a little bit last night in Jersey. A 17-point lead was gone. Zach Wilson was better than Patrick Mahomes, but then KC retook the lead early fourth quarter. Wilson fumbled the snap, and a couple of flags went the Chiefs' way. Mahomes did the rest.
They're going to throw it here. Mahomes steps up. He's at the 10, angling at the 5. Mahomes goes down at the 2. Sliding on his hip, McKinnon style, like Super Bowl 57, as Mahomes goes down at the 2 and should affect in the game.
That's Mitch Holtis on Chiefs Radio. Mahomes happy to exhale postgame.
It's not always going to be pretty for 4 quarters, especially when you're playing a good defense like that. But whenever the opportunity arises, it's about going down there and finishing. And obviously we didn't do that in the first game, and I'm glad that we've been able to do that in these last few.
Yep, this is 3 straight wins after that opening night loss to the Lions. Mahomes did throw 2 picks last night, and another one on that final drive negated by a debatable hold on Sauce Gardner. Isaiah Pacheco ran for 115 yards and 1 score to lead the KC attack. For the Jets, Wilson was more than acceptable finally last night, 245 yards and 2 scores, but his team is now 1-3. The Cowboys gave Bill Belichick the worst loss of his career, 38-3 the final in Dallas. Mac Jones did not finish the game after 3 turnovers, 2 of which were returned for touchdowns, but remains New England's starting QB.
Hey, Andrew, quick question.
Yeah.
Are
you giving updates or are you editorializing? Because I want to know something. Zach Wilson outplayed Patrick Mahomes and a questionable hold call on Sauce Gardner. Questionable, like the police should have got involved? He totally turned him around.
It was a misdemeanor.
I was thinking they were talking back
Zach
to the
Wilson
Super Bowl.
Not better than? Yeah.
This is the second time that the Chiefs benefited from a defensive holding call.
Oh, yeah.
In a crucial spot in the game. Not as much as the Super Bowl against your Eagles, obviously, but they got another one last night against Sauce Gardner.
And did you guys see the non-offensive holding call on that 25-yard Mahomes run right up the middle? That was terrible. That is an egregious miss.
Well, I would just say about Zach Wilson, he was playing against a prevent Chiefs defense, which is not that great. I understand Mahomes had a couple interceptions, but he was not outplayed by Zach Wilson.
I never believed in Wilson. Like, he put together the good drive, and then it was putting together another one, but it's like, it's. I'm not just going to say same old Jets. It's like Wilson will find the banana peel. Like, he threw the ball 40 times last night or whatever. Like, Zach Wilson should not be throwing the ball 40 times, whether you're down 17-0 or not.
He did complete a lot. I will give you that.
Yeah.
I've loved crushing Zach Wilson as much as anybody. Perloff, I would say and it's tough to say if he didn't, but if he didn't fumble that snap at the end, he was outplaying Mahomes until that point, which it has to be spooky season because that is some upside-down world stuff.
I don't know about outplaying him to that point. I think he was outplaying him maybe in the second half, I guess. I'll give him that. I'm sorry, Bogues, you were talking about the Cowboys.
No, I mean, I would just say even if he wasn't outplaying him, he was matching him, worst case scenario, which shouldn't have happened last night either. So, I mean, it's 20-all in the fourth quarter, and as Pat says, they may be driving for points to take the lead, the Jets, before he drops the snap. I mean, the ball was in danger more than once last night, but that was as good as Zach Wilson can be in primetime against the Chiefs. If Salah said they win a lot of games, he plays like that every week. I don't know if that's necessarily true, if they can repeat it, but I mean, again, you saw the possibility of what Zach Wilson can do for them last night, but in the end, they lose. The Patriots lose. The Eagles won 34-31 in OT over the Commanders. That's back-to-back 4-0 starts for Philly. The Texans
wait. Here we go again. You're like, hey, the Cowboys won, and the Eagles also won. What? You sound like Gus Johnson calling a Colorado USC game. Bogusch, what is this clearly editorializing here? The Eagles are 4-0. They won. A W is all that matters.
That's great. Congratulations. I'm glad Philly's getting something going for them. But we're New Yorkers here, so there's nothing good for the Eagles.
Yeah, what do you want them to pop champagne over
Flyers?
4-0? No way.
The Texans embarrassed the Steelers 36. C.J. Stroud threw for 306 and 2 scores. Kenny Pickett left with a knee injury, and the Vikings got their first win of the season, but not without incident for our sweet Kirk Cousins.
The snap, Cousins looking left, throwing left, and that's intercepted. Picked off by the Panthers. Going all the way down the sideline. He's got one man to beat. It's Franklin. He's got to beat the quarterback. Franklin stops, gets a block, pick six. Carolina, Sam Franklin, take it back.
That's from Panthers radio. Bad throw, big hit. Cousins and company down 10-0 before keeping the Panthers winless instead, 21-13. Drew Holiday's storied time in Portland is over after 5 great days. The veteran guard shipped back east, going to the Celtics for Robert Williams, Malcolm Brogdon, and 2 future number ones. Holiday went to Portland in the Dame Lillard trade. The baseball regular season ended yesterday with the Astros finally claiming the AL West through an 8-1 win over Arizona and the Rangers' 1-0 loss in Seattle. So Texas, as the 5 seed, instead plays Tampa Bay in the wildcard round. Miguel Cabrera went 0 for 3 with a walk. He played from first base for the first time in 2 years in his final game yesterday. His Tigers beat the Guardians 5-2. The Mets are not bringing back manager Buck Showalter. And most significantly from the diamond, Red Sox knuckleballer Tim Wakefield passing away at just 57 after battling brain cancer. Only Roger Clemens has more wins in Boston history than Wakefield. College football now, Georgia's number 1 again in the AP poll, but lost 20 first-place votes after a close call at Auburn. Michigan, Texas, Ohio State, and FSU remain behind the champs. Duke QB Riley Leonard suffered a reported high ankle sprain in Saturday night's loss against Notre Dame, and the Liberty closed out the Sun 87-84 to take their WNBA semifinal in 4 games. New York now plays for the title for the first time in 21 years, starting Sunday in Vegas. Guys, back to you.
Bogues, thank you so much for those headlines. And I say keep editorializing. I like it.
I'm gonna.
It's awesome. I'm here for all of it. I mean, we'll get into the college stuff, and Bogusch mentioned Duke. I can't, if they were a little more likable of a fan base and of a school, I would actually feel a lot worse for them. I don't know if you can lose a game in a more heartbreaking fashion than Duke, not just losing to Notre Dame on Saturday night, but also your quarterback goes down in the last play of the game, and now he's going to miss several weeks. Like, it doesn't get more painful than that.
And Riley Leonard, big-time NFL prospect. Maybe he stays at Duke now. So, actually, I don't know if he has eligibility. I got to check that. But that was tough. But then again, I was watching this. Duke football? Yeah.
I know.
I mean, Pat, Notre Dame fan, that was intense. You were at a bar. I assume everybody was dying during that game.
Yeah. Well, at least there was a pocket of people. I was telling you, or maybe I was telling Maggie before the show, there was like I wouldn't call him elderly, but he was probably 55 to 60 years old, man and his wife, and then their daughter kept like coming in and out during the game, and I'm there a couple 100 beers deep, and I'm just going nuts because I've watched Notre Dame a 13-0 lead where everything felt comfortable, and then it just evaporated right in front of their face all of a sudden on like 2 out of 3 Duke drives. So then I'm hanging on every single play, And when Sam Hartman and Notre Dame get the ball back and they have to drive down the field, I'm like, all right, all they need is a field goal. And then all of a sudden, Audric Estime just breaks one.
I'm sorry. Did you call a 55-year-old elderly?
What do we call? Whoa, what do we call?
Middle-aged, man.
What do we call elderly? When do you hit elderly? When you start getting Medicaid?
65 and over. Once you start getting discounts at like a movie theater, then you're elderly. I don't think 55 is a
elderly is a
cutoff,
rough word.
Okay.
Elderly. Wait, were they like having trouble walking in? Like were they had a walker?
Yeah, come on.
But his hair was all white.
That's the look nowadays. That's just the style.
And wait, what's the deal with the daughter? Why was she walking in and out?
Well, she was like, there was a weird scene, and it was kind of throwing me off.
Are you sure this is real? I mean, are you sure you were just like smoking a lot of peyote and this is just all in your imagination, Pat?
No, 100 beers in.
Yeah, you're kind of an unreliable narrator.
No, I wasn't hallucinating. So I think she was at the bar, maybe with her friends, because the parents were there the entire time. And maybe this whole scene, this situation going on kind of detracted away from a little bit of the anxiety I was having watching the game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But she would float in, have a drink with her dad and her mom, and then she would just float away.
That's kind of nice, though. Who hangs out with their parents on Saturday night at a bar?
That's what I'm saying. And finally, the parents were pretty quiet. Finally, I asked the guy, I was like, dude, I'm going nuts behind you on every play. Are you rooting for Notre Dame? And he goes, yeah. I was like, all right, thank God, because if you were rooting for Duke, I wouldn't be able to stand me if I was you.
Remind me never to go to that bar. I'm sorry. Notre Dame and Duke together, this is just I wish they could both lose.
Well, I think the bar itself is actually a Penn State bar, which is the only other worst case scenario.
Penn State looked pretty good, though.
They do. For now. Let me know when they play an offense that can actually throw the football.
We'll see. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, a lot more to do here on Maggie and Perloff now in the morning. So glad to have you across the country on CBS Sports Radio. Of course, you could watch the show as well, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio, where the Weedos and the coffee drinkers are in full effect this morning. Download the free Odyssey app. It is crystal clear. You can take it with you wherever you go. Also, SiriusXM channel 158. Coming up, we got the latest on the most fascinating quarterback in the NFL. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
All right, you can stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. You know, NBC got kind of lucky last night, Maggie. There was so much going on at that Jets-Chiefs game.
Yep.
Obviously, you had the celebrities up high, and then in the beginning of the game, Aaron Rodgers shows up. He looked great for a dude who just tore his Achilles a month ago.
And that leads us to a segment that we like to call
What the is Aaron Rodgers up to today?
You'll learn about us. We check in with Aaron Rodgers a lot, whether he's playing or not. Because once he started talking about taking psychedelic drugs, we were like, there's more to this guy than meets the eye. And we got to keep a close watch on this dude. So, yes, last night he makes his way to MetLife Stadium. He's there on the sidelines, like throwing the football around. And we learned from Melissa Stark that he's planning to rejoin the team after the Week 7 bye permanently, and that he still wants to come back this season.
Right, which makes no sense. They're 1-3. No. They're not going to be in the playoff mix, most likely. Why would he come back?
I think this is something to just keep him uber aggressive, I guess, on his rehab. Maybe keep the locker room believing a little bit, or feel like, like they're playing for something. Like, hey, if you make the playoffs, maybe Aaron Rodgers pulls like a Willis Reed type of thing and comes back and gives them this big boost. I have no idea.
Do you think that they've been sort of slow on bringing in a real veteran to back up Zach Wilson or to compete with Zach Wilson because, in part, they don't want Kirk Cousins to come in, kill it, and then have this awkward situation where Kirk Cousins had a good year, then Aaron Rodgers is coming back next season? Because a lot of this feels like momentum towards him coming back next season to me.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to come back. I don't know what it's going to look like at 40 years old coming off an Achilles, but he's talking about, this aggressive rehab. Yeah. Are they that worried about his feelings?
I think they might be. I mean, listen, Aaron Rodgers, teams have to worry about Aaron Rodgers' feelings. Ask our Packers friends. Aaron Rodgers' feelings are a real thing.
Yeah, he lives in them. I think that if that's the case, then the Jets are making two big mistakes. Number one, it's rolling with Zach Wilson, even though he did look better last night, but rolling with him simply because he was a second overall pick and you don't want to admit how wrong and bad this pick was. That's a mistake. That's the Jets being in their feelings. Or in their ego. So I think that's a mistake. And then not doing everything you can to try to win this season is also a mistake. I didn't know if it had to be Kirk Cousins, if that could have worked financially or whatever. But to not bring in another veteran, to have Trevor Siemian finally after like 3 weeks when he's not going to do anything for you. Trevor Siemian's going to get hurt. I mean, I'm not rooting for that. But if we're going off of his history, I don't see why they didn't bring in somebody to try to push this team a little bit more than Trevor Siemian.
Okay, maybe a Carson Wentz, but I don't think you should have given up draft capital to get Kirk Cousins, like a second or third round pick, because this is a team that's building for the future. I know Aaron Rodgers is 40, but Garrett Wilson is young, Sauce Gardner is young. I don't think there was anything that was going to happen. A quarterback has to come in and learn the offense anyway, Maggie. So I'm not sure what any of these quarterbacks would have done. I think last night proved proof of concept that rolling with Zach Wilson is not the worst option for them.
Let's hear, Pete, can we hear from Robert Saleh, please? Cut number 4 on Zach Wilson's improvements.
You know what? Decision making. I shouldn't say decision making. He's always a good decision maker. The decisiveness at which he was making his decisions, he was letting it rip. I thought he did a really, really nice job.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder there. Better decision-making. Yes, because the bar has been set very low. I'm not trying to sound like a hater here. I know that Wilson played better, but he does not give your team a meaningful chance to win the game. And I don't know if it was him fumbling the snap that you could say he said himself, I lost the game for us. I mean, they never got the ball back, so I guess you could pin it on that one play.
Right.
But did you really have any faith that Zach Wilson was going to pull this out?
No. I think Mahomes could have scored whenever he wanted to because he could run, especially the way the Jets were playing defense. They were not watching Mahomes at all. This fumble on the snap was interesting because the interior lineman let his guy just go by accident. So I understand why Zach Wilson looked up away from the ball. Here's an interesting scenario. So they play at the Broncos next week, which will be super interesting for many, many reasons. Zach Wilson versus Russell Wilson. If they lose that game, they're 1-4. Then Philly in New York. Then a bye, then Giants in New York. So, you've covered New York sports. I feel like that Jets-Giants game gets a lot of publicity. Is Robert Saleh possibly in trouble? That would be a bad loss if they say they fell to 1-6.
Yeah.
I understand Robert Saleh doesn't have Aaron Rodgers, but 1-6 is tough for a team that has invested a lot into this season.
I think that everyone gets past this year.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the right thing. I'm not saying, but I think that's what's going to happen. Jets and the Giants, quite frankly, but revolving door of coaches. Like, I don't think you lose Aaron Rodgers 4 snaps into the season. I don't think that they're going to clear everybody out off of that unless Rodgers has someone that he really wants to play for. He's got so much power in this organization. Maybe they'd make the switch because of that. But you can't elevate Nathaniel Hackett, the offensive coordinator. We already saw how bad that could go.
Aaron Rodgers has power in that organization. He's played 4 snaps for them.
Hell yeah, he's got power in that organization.
He brought in Nathaniel Hackett. Who else is he going to bring in?
There's like a void of power. Like there's a devoid. No one else has got any. Like who else is calling shots in that organization? So I don't think Saleh's on the hot seat. No. The other thing too about Rodgers, so him being with the team, is this going to have any tangible effect? It's going to be after the bye, in the meetings, in Zach Wilson's ear. Probably. I think everyone's going to have to be on better behavior around Rodgers. He called them out for pointing fingers at each other last week and getting into it on the sideline. So maybe everyone just has to be a little more professional if Aaron Rodgers is in the building.
I guess so. If you're 1-3 though, so it doesn't matter. This is window dressing to me. Again, it gets back to this sort of moral victory they had last night. I don't care. Win football games, and Zach Wilson was a number 2 overall pick. What we're doing here is we're just lowering the bar for what Zach Wilson. So Zach Wilson playing an okay game is this revelation for the Jets. I wonder if they're one. I know you think Robert Saleh is safe, and he does deserve a pass. It's not his fault. Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Oh, he's not a great coach.
He's not a great coach. It doesn't feel like he has a great game time command. And I think 1-6 would be dangerous for him. I mean, they might win one of these games. They could certainly beat the Broncos, who are a kind of a mess, and the Eagles. Who knows? But if they're 1-6 and they lose to the Giants in MetLife, that's a really bad look.
855-2124-CBS, 855-212-4227. We'll talk about other coaches who could be feeling their seat. I want to say warm. Some of these coaches, it's wild that they're still on the sideline. I mean, I know it's early. We're only at the quarter pole turn of the season, but what are you waiting for?
4 games.
We're looking at you, Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
We're looking at you, Pittsburgh offensive coordinator, Matt Canada.
Certainly looking at you, Denver defensive coordinator, Vance Joseph.
I mean, some of these guys, like, it's not clear. You need a new voice. And that's just, it's obvious and clear as day. Hey, it's Maggie and Perloff in the morning. How cool is this? Thanks so much for riding along with us. If you want to watch the show, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. Of course, our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates. We love you so much. Coming up, is this the end for one Hall of Fame coach? Get to that in just moments. Hang with us on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She's a violin prodigy. Her full name is Maggie the Stallion. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome into the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff taking over mornings here on CBS Sports Radio. So glad to have you along. And boy, I never thought I'd say it, but Bill Belichick is just taking more and more on the chin. Now, people will get to learn this about me. I'm a diehard Buffalo Bills fan, which is great now. But for many years, it was just getting your butt whipped by Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, and that was your entire existence. So Belichick lives rent-free in my head, Perloff. Not like you. You're an Eagles fan. You have much less history with Belichick. A couple Super Bowls, but less history.
Yeah, I mean, I respect Bill Belichick. I think there's a great argument. He's the best coach of all time. But, I mean, listen, when I was young, Tom Landry was the Cowboys coach.
Yep.
And there was no doubt he was among the top 3 coaches in the NFL. But then he lost his fastball. The Cowboys got terrible, and he was fired. In my mind, if Tom Landry can be fired, then anybody can be fired because he was iconic. He wore the hat. He was the Cowboys. So Bill Belichick is 70. This is a very bad team. I actually blame Bill Belichick, the GM, more than Bill Belichick, the coach. But I see no reason that Bill Belichick can't be fired.
See, I think that the organization is going to show some more loyalty to him. I think he's earned it. The 6 Super Bowls, you're right. Maybe he hasn't been great as a general manager, but to be honest, Christian Gonzalez, their rookie corner, was playing great until he got hurt. Matthew Judon has been a really good signing for him. He got hurt yesterday. The defense has always been there and always been good. I just think they may have missed on Mac Jones, whose ceiling I thought was going to be a bit higher after his rookie year. He looks kind of lost out there. We saw that they finally brought in a real offensive coordinator for him in Bill O'Brien, and yesterday it didn't matter. 3 turnovers. Cowboys defense was back to doing their thing. They looked stout. And I just think the Cowboys part of this is one side, which I think, this was a nice bounce back win for them after the Arizona loss. But for Belichick, he gets to name his time when he gets to name how he goes out.
I don't know. I mean, first of all, the problem isn't just Mac Jones. He didn't bring in a wide receiver. He's always been bad at signing a wide receiver. Well, not signed, but he can't draft wide receivers. So they're completely unexplosive. I just saw Mac Jones try and run a couple times. He runs like Tom Brady, which is okay if you're Tom Brady and you're the best passer in the league.
Yeah, you've got multiple Super Bowls under your belt.
But he feels like he is not a modern-day quarterback. And I don't even know. He's one of these guys. I'm not sure he gets another chance. He's not athletic. So you would think that he does everything else well, and I'm not sure he has a chance there. Bailey Zappi, who I love, the backup,
we
second-year player.
We call Perloff as Zappy Curious.
Oh,
it's an orientation.
Well, it wasn't good yesterday. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The Cowboys are built to play from ahead. Once they get a lead, forget it. They're just going to pile on with that pass rush. And it reminded me of the Week 1 game against the Giants where they won 40-0.
Yep.
Once they get ahead, forget it. The game doesn't mean anything. So on the flip side, I'm not that impressed by the Cowboys just because they can do that to the Patriots, because I really consider the Patriots one of the worst 5 teams in the league.
See, I don't think you can say that about the Pats because the defense is still good. Now, you wouldn't have known it yesterday. That was a rough one for them, but they were kind of outclassed in every phase of the game. I still think they're formidable, and with Belichick there's always, I think, still that intimidation factor with Belichick.
They have one win on the season. They beat the Jets 15-10.
I know, and that was the 15 in a row against the Jets, but they've been in these games. It's just getting the offense figured out, which has really never been like Belichick's thing, right? It's just...
Well, right. I mean, he has said that he's gotten into the offensive side of the ball. I don't see how they can possibly compete in today's NFL. I mean, look at your Bills and Dolphins on Sunday, just rolling up the scoreboard. Bill Belichick's team is built for 2002, not 2023.
You're right. If they get behind, it's really difficult because they have to really be predicated on the run game. And Ramondre Stevenson was 14 carries for 30 yards. I mean, that's because the Cowboys' defense is great. But I think what Belichick wanted to do, this is what I think. He looked at Josh Allen and Tua and looked in the division and thought Aaron Rodgers was going to be there and said, we're just going to grind these games out. We're going to slow everything down. It's going to be our only shot. And they just don't have like any offensive firepower. And when you go in with nothing, it's like bringing a knife to a gunfight over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are a very similar team, and both these teams are going to try and win with defense. I don't think you can win with just defense anymore. So the Pats have the Saints this week, who are a total mess. So maybe that's a win. And then at the Raiders, where they lost the pitchy doo-doo game last year. So, and then they got your Bills. It just feels like the wheels are coming off. I don't know what you do because you don't want to fire Bill Belichick. But I think if you're Robert Kraft, you're getting older. If you're going to restart, you got to do it now. I mean, what are you going to do? Just sort of be 8-9 for the next 5 years?
I mean, who comes in, though, and immediately changes their fortunes? Like, who? You got to hire a general manager, and then you've also got to go head coach here. Is it Gerard Mayo? Is it going to be Bill O'Brien? Like, who does this team need if not Belichick?
Well, maybe go radically different. Maybe try and woo Lincoln Riley away from USC, go offense, bring in a new GM, go the exact opposite of Bill Belichick. Go Deion. I don't know. Somebody just get somebody who's very, very different from the old way of doing things.
Can you imagine Deion Sanders takes over for Belichick?
Okay, well, what if you try to go halfway and bring in an offensive guy to assist? Say, I don't think you can get Lincoln Riley, but just one of these Sean McVay clones, one of these Kyle Shanahan types, and say, Bill, we still want you to be the head coach, but we want you to give away some of your power, which is something he never, ever does.
Would never, ever do. Remember the whole idea he was going to open up his world to Josh McDaniels? And whatever happened with that? I mean, McDaniels is down in Vegas right now, stinking up the joint. That whole team is it's rough. So I know they were playing without Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday. We'll get into the Raiders in a little bit. But that dude, Aiden O'Connell, man.
I kind of liked him. You're not into Aiden O'Connell?
Here's what I wanted to bring up. I noticed a trend going on with you guys, and I'm kind of painting with a broad brush here. I don't mean all of you, but the mustache is back.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, guys have to understand, some of you guys are cut out to have a mustache. You know, like Tom Selleck, Keith Hernandez, whatever. The famous mustache people. Not all of you. Not Aiden O'Connell. This dude looks scary. He looks like a mugshot with that mustache, and he would just look so much better if he just shaved it. Like, Pat, I blame your generation. It's like you guys are wearing these mustaches like ironically or something. I don't know what's going on with
Blaming me.
young men today.
Did you see my mustache I had last week?
I blame you.
I don't know if you are able to see it from more than like 5 feet away, but look, it's all about the mojo, Maggie. Let Aiden O'Connell rock what he wants to rock, whether it looks like it's 7th grade, you know, like the dirty gym stash.
Yes.
What'd you call it?
A crustache. It's like, I'm sorry, you have some Oreo cookies on the top of your lip. He looks gross.
It's like the Gatorade mustache when you have the the
Milk
red
mustache.
Gatorade on the top of your lip. Yeah, I mean, it didn't look great. But he did play well enough to the point where, you know, they're in the red zone to try to win the game.
Until he threw a terrible pick in the red zone.
You know, I'm looking at Aiden O'Connell. I'm trying to find a picture of him without the mustache. He's going wire to wire. All the way at Purdue, he had a mustache.
He's got the stash wire to wire. It's a wire to wire win for the stash.
He's not a Movember guy. He always has this mustache, and it always looks like he's 13 years old and it's sort of half grown in. Yeah, this is who he is. I think it's okay. Aaron Rodgers looked great with his mustache.
No, he doesn't.
He looks great with that.
No, he doesn't.
Rodgers looks fantastic.
That is
Come on, Maggie. You want a Tom
duster.
Selleck
Yeah, Rodgers is not Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck is an all-time mustache.
What's dawning on me? Do men like other men wearing mustaches more than women like men wearing mustaches?
I think
it's cool.
I love seeing a good stash.
Oh, anytime a buddy gets a mustache, I'm like, oh, high five. That's
you guys
awesome.
with the mustaches and the mullets, like, get some new material. Can you not grow, like, I don't know, I don't want to see mutton chops or anything, but, like, get a little more creative with this thing.
There's only so many things we can do with short hair, Maggie. What do you want us to do?
Wait.
No.
Well, who does not like the mullet? I thought that was universally beloved.
I don't know. Maybe there's some young girls out there who are into the mullet now. I'm old enough to remember when the mullet was cool the first time around. But
mid-90s.
This is not something, Pete, that needed to come back. Here's the other thing about O'Connell, and this is just some free advice out there for all the dudes. If you're going to go mustache, you can't go buzz cut. That's when you start looking like a mugshot, pardon me.
So go mullet. Aiden O'Connell should definitely go mullet.
He looked like Quinn Ewers, and Quinn Ewers had to cut his hair from Texas so that people could finally take him seriously.
This is Aiden O'Connell's mustache arc. You got to give it some time. Maybe if Jimmy Garoppolo's out again next week, maybe we see a little bit thicker of a mustache from Aiden O'Connell. Maybe you see a little bit better play.
You've got universally known as the most handsome quarterback is the starter on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you take a couple cues from Jimmy? Jimmy's not growing a mustache. Jimmy wouldn't do that. You can't cover up that face. Aiden O'Connell's got to let this thing go.
There is no connection between Aiden O'Connell's looks and Jimmy Garoppolo's looks. I don't think he looks that much better without the mustache. I can't believe you didn't think Aaron Rodgers looked cool. I thought he looked amazing. In fact, I was like, that mustache can single-handedly cure his Achilles. It's so cool.
He looked like an extra from Super Troopers. It looks like a costume. I don't know. Maybe that's me.
Are there any other quarterbacks with great stashes in the league? Now that you're saying that, I can't think of many. Maybe we need a league-wide mustache referendum.
No, you know who's got the best facial hair in sports right now? Because he's like 30 and he's playing college football. At least he looks like it.
Sam
Hartman.
Yep.
He looks like Cat Stevens.
His hair is ridiculous.
Do you even know that reference? Probably Cat
Stevens? No.
Have you ever heard of Cat Stevens?
Nope.
Oh.
I think you were talking about Cat Williams.
No. A little different
very different.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts does the goatee. He's going wire-to-wire goatee. Well, he had the pirate look back at Alabama. But now, I don't know. It's interesting. I always look at Jalen Hurts. Is Jalen Hurts a fashionable guy? Because goatees are not really in.
Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, the big beard got very popular. You know, Harden, LeBron has the big beard.
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, it's a little too much. But Sam Hartman right now, he looks 30.
Well, the problem with Sam Hartman is
he almost is.
Folk star. Yeah.
He's very photogenic. So when the other team is driving at the end of a game, they always go to Sam Hartman, which is good if they win, but it was not good in the Ohio State game. So Sam Hartman took a lot of bullets.
Sad Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
How do we start talking about this? Oh, Aiden O'Connell's mustache. It stinks.
I think we need a poll on this because I think every mustache is good.
No. Vince McMahon. Horrible.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, well, like the evil billionaire mustache?
The V for Vendetta.
Yeah, the V.
He looked like the V for Vendetta mask.
I mean, at least that's like a look. I don't know. Again, Aiden O'Connell looks like he wanted to go get a fake ID. So he's like, I better do something here. I'm going to grow out a little bit of a mustache. Maybe they'll believe I was born in 1991.
You were talking about Jimmy Garoppolo, what he used to do with porn stars. It would make sense if Jimmy Garoppolo had the porn stash.
I know. Listen,
Jeff Fisher. That's a mustache. No,
Jeff
that
Fisher
dude could rock a mustache. Can you picture Jeff Fisher without the mustache? What would be the point?
No. Yeah, he kind of needed that. Same with Dicka.
I think Aiden O'Connell's face looks like Jeff Fisher a little bit. Some people need a mustache, Maggie.
I don't want to be compared to Jeff Fisher. 500 Fisher? That's not what I'm going for.
Aiden O'Connell looks like this 55-year-old coach.
I think a little older. 855-212-4CBS. How old's Jeff Fisher these days?
He's got to be elderly. He's got to be 65,
Yes.
right? By your
exactly
definition?
65.
Yes.
65 and up, you're elderly.
Listen, Pat's out here calling people who are 55 elderly. What, are you trying to get the show canceled? No way. People will be writing you hate mail. I'm protecting you.
Jeff Fisher looks great because the mustache is so cool. I don't care how old he is.
I think you want to be elderly at this point. If you're 55, you're in an awkward in-between. You're not getting benefits. You're not getting discounts, but you're still old.
You're not old. That's what I'm telling you. People are going to be out with pitchforks for you if you call 55-year-olds old. If you want to watch the show, of course, our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates, you can just listen to the sound of our voices and imagine how handsome and beautiful we are. YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you could watch the show, where Andrew Kaplan has already started off our maiden voyage here in the mornings with just the most beautiful Photoshop of Andrew Perloff with a mustache.
Ooh, I got to see this.
You look French with that.
Oh, no. It's not a thin mustache, is it?
You can see
It's
it
a
right there
pretty
in
good
front
one.
of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's
look I look like a international spy with that mustache.
Yeah, you kind of look like
Pink Panther.
Kevin Kline. This is a deep cut. Kevin Kline on SNL used to do like the French guy who had bad gas. So he was like this Casanova, but he always had this kryptonite that he was like farting all the time. You kind of look like that character. But please don't fart in here.
Hey, Pat, when you grow a mustache, do you grow out your beard and mustache and then shave the beard? How do you do it? Because the part I don't like about the mustache is the in between. Maggie, I'm
going to sit this one
you
out.
can take your headphones out.
Yeah, again, I
wax my mustache like all other women.
Yeah.
I don't think either you, me, or Bilotti. I've never seen Pete grow a beard. I don't know if we.
Pathetic.
Yeah, I don't think either of us have very good facial hair. Maybe you do.
No, I don't. So, but when you do the mustache, don't you have to let all the hair grow out and then you shave the beard and the mustache is left? Because otherwise you look like you're 13 and just hitting puberty for a long
like
time.
Aiden O'Connell.
Like Aiden O'Connell.
You let whatever grow on the outside, and then you shave it down, and it accentuates the mustache. That's where it really starts popping.
All right.
Whatever, guys. Good luck.
There's a lot going on here, Maggie. It's not. You think you have to go through a lot of grooming and stuff. It's not that easy for men.
I hope your husband, when you walk home today, says, "You know what? I think about growing a mustache."
My husband's got the full mustache beard combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What if he said, "I'm going straight stash"?
I'd be like, I'm going to get my bags packed and probably pack our kid up too. We're all leaving until you come to your senses. It would be, I'm going on vacation with our 4-year-old. You can just sit with that mustache for a while and enjoy it. Also, I don't like when things like this doesn't happen. My husband's a very clean person. But for guys, like you can get things kind of stuck in there. Like
And
food.
big beards.
Yeah.
Big beards, especially. Yeah. That's gross.
That's not appetizing for a woman.
If I had a nice big mustache, I feel like I would walk around with like a little comb and just constantly groom it throughout the day.
And now you're a cartoon character. Congratulations. With your creams and your combs.
I just Googled Andrew Perloff with a mustache because I wore one in somewhere around 2016. And this picture came up. It's Robert Redford with the sweetest stash you've ever seen in your life in 1978. Now, the right kind of guy, we have to sell you a mustache.
I think even that looks bad on Redford, and he's one of the most handsome people of all time.
Oh, right. But you know why? Because I tweeted out about how strong Robert Redford's mustache was in this HBO documentary. Wow, we are really on different pages here. Maybe we don't understand what women really want to see.
Yeah, and also, you guys aren't going to convert me on this one. I'm sorry. I've staked out my side.
Gosh, if Redford can't do it, then certainly the three of us are not going to convince you.
Yeah, and I will say, any girl that I've talked to when I tried to grow a mustache, they're always just like, no. But I feel like they're low-key, like, joking.
No, this is one of those. This is one of those no means no situations. You got to believe her the first time. Always 855-212-4CBS. Yeah, Perloff's like winking at Pat.
Pat, you're good, dude.
Grow it out.
Grow it out.
She says no, but she means yes. No, we never do. 855-212-4CBS. Okay, lot going on today. What did we start with? Belichick's in the hot seat.
Then we transition to sweet dusters.
Sweet dusters.
And that's a little of how this show is probably going to go from here on out. 855-212-4CBS. We are the type of show that likes to hear from you. So you are welcome to call in and be a part of this craziness. What did we say about a poll question?
Yeah.
Oh, mustaches.
Oh, no. I think we're saying...
Is Aiden O'Connell, is that mustache cool?
Or wasn't it about Bill Belichick? Wasn't there a Bill Belichick poll in there?
Sure.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think you're right. It was the Aiden O'Connell mustache.
Throw Belichick in there, too.
I'm curious. You think that Bill Belichick is not fireable, basically.
I do not.
I think
not this year.
I think there's reporting from people around the Patriots. Tom Curran, who's a longtime Patriot reporter, says he's really on the hot seat. I think on the hot seat means that eventually they're going to part ways.
Okay, I'll give you this prediction. If they do move on from Belichick after this year, he's getting hired somewhere else. Like, he's not, I don't think this means he retires. I know he's 70, 71, like right around there, same age as Saban, right? I think he goes somewhere else because he wants to get that all-times win record, I think is part of it. Not totally ego-driven, and I think he thinks he can still coach. And there's so many franchises out there who don't know their you-know-what from their elbow and would love to have Belichick come in.
Well, what about TV? I know it sounds weird because he's so quiet, but he kind of has opened up lately. He's been much more loquacious.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he did that NFL Network Top 100 thing. I think he has some interest in TV. I know that sounds nuts because he doesn't look like it. I think that could be in his future.
This is one of the biggest lies told in the history of the NFL, that behind the scenes, Bill Belichick is like this super charismatic guy.
Funny guy.
Funny.
Every teammate,
charismatic.
every
That
guy
is
who
a
played for
lie.
him said he's hysterical.
Lie. No, they're saying he's hysterical because they're expecting like crabby, sort of ornery Bill Belichick. And if he's like even one smidgen different than that, people are like, oh, this guy's hilarious. No, he's not really hilarious.
Well, it's like Nick Saban. Nick Saban is totally dry in front of camera, but behind the camera, he tells dirty jokes every day.
Yeah, well, that's because he can keep recycling the same material because he's got new recruits coming in all the time. So D's nuts work all the time. It's all he's got. He's got one thing.
Also, generally, D's nuts works all the time anyway.
You guys love that? What do you love more, that or the mustache?
Josh Allen, by the way, your quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, loves both things. So a mustache and those kind of jokes.
We have heard that. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. He's also 26 years old. Saban's 71.
Yeah, he is.
Know.
Josh Allen, when he goes straight mustache and not full beard, oh boy, perfect. I think his quarterback rating is 20 points higher.
So you're telling me if Nick Saban starts dropping Room 40 jokes on recruits, that they'll be back to number one?
Yeah, I think that's what they're missing.
Let me tell you, Jalen, you got Room 40. Room 40 what, Coach?
855-212-4CBS. Okay, a lot to get to, including the one thing that no one is talking about from yesterday. We've got headlines in just moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff now in the mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. Today's Monday Night Football preview is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Got Giants and Seahawks at the Meadowlands for the first time ever on the Monday Night Football stage. Seattle, a slight 1.5-point road favorite on FanDuel. Pete Carroll's crew has won 2 straight, including a 37-27 victory over the Panthers in Week 3. Meanwhile, the Giants trying to figure out who they are. They're 1-2 on the year, dominated by the 49ers on Thursday night. In Week 3, Andrew Thomas, left tackle for the Giants, is out again. Saquon Barkley is doubtful.
I have no memories ever of the Giants and Seahawks playing one another. That is an interesting point. Like, I can evoke, I'm an NFC East fan. I know the Giants pretty well. Nothing is popping. I think of a Seahawks Giants game. Nothing comes to mind. Anybody got anything? Jim Zorn?
Nope.
I think there was there like a memorable Colt McCoy playing for Daniel Jones? I know. I'm stretching here. I think they won. I'm not sure. Anyway, I got nothing for you. 855-212-4CBS, yes.
It's a tough matchup for ESPN. This is no Saquon, probably no Saquon. I don't think this is what they envisioned coming into the season with the Giants and the Seahawks. The Seahawks, you and I disagree, I think, on the Seahawks.
What's that?
Well, I know we're going to get to it later.
I picked them to win the division. That's not looking great.
We had a pre-show debate, best division, NFC West versus NFC East. And part of your argument was that you think the Seahawks are legit.
Yeah.
I think they're going to show up tonight because the Giants are terrible. But I still think the Eagles-Cowboys is better than the Niners-Seahawks.
Yeah, you're probably right in terms of top heavy. I'm just also surprised that the Arizona Cardinals are as feisty as they are. They're in every one of these games. Speaking of handing out
feisty, what is with
victories.
You? Whatever happened to the W and the L?
I know, but here's the thing: they're in all these games. They're a scary team to play because you think
Scary
they're
how?
tanking for Caleb Williams, and then they are putting the fear into a lot of these teams, and they even beat the Cowboys last week, as we know. And then the Rams. I thought the Rams were going to stink. I bet the Rams yesterday and had to sweat every second of that game out. But they end up winning on the road against the Colts. Meanwhile, Anthony Richardson looking really good. Look at me doing headlines. That's not my job. That's the job of Andrew Bogusch, who joins us now to get us caught up on all the latest. Hey, Bogues.
Hey, you were right, by the way. There definitely is a Colt McCoy Giants game in Seattle. There was also maybe a there was a game where the Giants missed field goals and lost in Seattle. All the recent Giant-Seahawk history is in Seattle for sure.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What do you have for us from yesterday?
Well, it felt like we hit a stalemate last hour. Was Zach Wilson outplaying Patrick Mahomes at any point during Sunday Night Football? Boyle and I say yes. Mom and Dad say no. Tiebreaker is Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
I thought he was really good. Gave us a chance to win the game, brought us back. if he plays like that, we're going to win a lot of football games.
He's the football professional of the group, so that's a win for me and Boyle. So
Thanks,
congrats
Rob.
to us.
Well, Bogues, I will say I do agree with you on
it, Boyle.
Hold on, I agree with you on the point, but you can't take what Robert Saleh says anywhere seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, Zach Wilson looked horrendous up until last night, and every week he's saying, yeah, he looks good. So
Great.
I would say
So
C.J. Mosley
gave it away.
was really one of the reasons why they were really in that game. Zach Wilson had a couple nice throws, had a nice drive for a touchdown and 2-point conversion, but I mean, the defense is what kept him in the game.
So when Robert Saleh says they're going to win a lot of games, Bogusch, does that mean what? They're going to go 4-13? Is 4 a lot? Is that what we're talking about here?
At the moment, 4 would be a lot, yes. If they were to quadruple their total, I think that qualifies now.
I mean,
as a lot
he
of
played
wins.
well. He still didn't win a ball game, so, you know.
By the way, if you're a Jets fan and you're listening to comments like that, is there a nightmare scenario where Zach Wilson is your quarterback for the rest of time?
yes.
Yes.
I said,
Now.
I tweeted last night, I was like, nights like this where Zach actually looks somewhat competent is probably the worst case scenario because they're going to keep giving him chances.
Totally.
Get my cousin Tim Boyle in the game. Damn it.
They will not admit defeat on Zach Wilson. They just refuse to do it. It's like, no. The real Zach Wilson is coming out. It's like, no, it's not. Believe us. We've seen it all. Yes, Bogues.
Well, Perloff already mentioned Kirk Cousins. I do think that possibly the reason why they have not brought in a real replacement for Zach Wilson is that they're waiting on a better one to actually be available like Cousins. And at that point, it might be too late to rescue anything anyway. But they can't just be straight dumb and ignorant. There has to be an ulterior motive for backing Zach so strongly.
Wait a minute, Bogues. The Jets can't be dumb and ignorant. They definitely
not
can.
to this level.
Oh,
not
no.
to this level.
They'll ask you to hold their beer. They absolutely can be this ignorant. At
They
this
drafted
level.
him. They're the team that drafted him.
They could have done something pre-Trevor Siemian. They could have brought in another person immediately after Rodgers was hurt, and they didn't because I think they're waiting for something else. Like I'm grasping for straws.
Justin
to not
Fields?
Say, no. They need a guy just to finish.
Got any more ideas?
This year. They only got to finish this year, and Cousins fits because they don't have to sign him after this year. They get him, and then he goes, no matter how he plays.
It would be something.
It was 17-0 at one point last night for the Chiefs. It got to 20-20, and then KC retook the lead early in the fourth quarter. The Jets had the ball again, maybe driving for more points. Then Wilson made that mistake, dropping the snap. The Chiefs had the ball back, kept it for 7+ minutes to secure the 23-20 escape from New Jersey. Patrick Mahomes picked off twice, almost 3, but a soft hold on Sauce Gardner wiped that out in the final drive. Wilson finishing 245 yards and 2 scores. Now,
If Mahomes had run into the end zone on the last play of the game, or the last meaningful play, and they had won 30-20, would we be talking about them escaping MetLife?
Yes.
They had that game in hand. 30-20 is fine. They would have covered.
But the game wasn't in hand until there were 7 minutes left, and not even that. It wasn't in hand until there was 1:40 left, and a game that should have been over after the first quarter. That game was absolutely in doubt.
I thought so too. And I think it took like Mahomes doing some magician stuff out there in terms of runs and things like that. I thought it was in doubt. The problem is you can't take Wilson and the offense seriously because it's like if you need him to go down the field and score, I know he did it against my Buffalo Bills. I know everybody. Jets beat the Bills. Zach Wilson's beat him twice. I get it. But I have no faith in him normally under those circumstances that he could go and lead a game-winning drive.
I totally agree with that. But don't you guys think that the Chiefs just completely sort of gave up on the game when they were up 17-0? They're like, there's no way. They made a mental mistake saying there's no way Zach Wilson can beat us. And then the offense lost all its steam until they needed to. There was, in my mind, Patrick Mahomes could have won that game anytime he wanted. There was no real danger.
I don't know about
then
that.
Why didn't he?
Yeah.
Well, it's like when I'm playing my daughter in a board game. Like, I can win. I just don't want her to have a temper tantrum. So I just sort of let her hang around.
I think they didn't want to, embarrass the Jets in front of their home crowd? I don't know why would the Chiefs care at all? They want to destroy every team they play.
I love that Perloff's comparing his daughter to the Chiefs playing the Jets.
Oh, just wait. Just wait till he starts talking about the Saturday morning basketball runs and compares himself to Giannis.
Yeah.
So much is coming for you guys.
That's not my style of play.
Sorry.
I'm an outside sort of a wing defender. Anyway, the thing, it was USC. It was basically the USC Colorado played out again. USC was up 34-7 and just decided out of boredom to make it a game. That's exactly what happened last night. There was no danger at all for Patrick Mahomes. If you're trying to live bet that game, you can never get good odds on the Chiefs losing.
Speaking of which, you mentioned the Mahomes slide at the end. Apparently, there was like hundreds of thousands of dollars that hinged on Mahomes getting in the end zone there. That was a bad non-cover if you're a Chiefs bettor.
What was it, the over-under?
No, it was Chiefs minus 9.5. So if he scores there, you get the cover.
Yeah.
So the Jets covered on Mahomes going down at the 2 when he could have walked in.
It was the right play, right?
Yes.
Do we all agree? Or some people were trying to argue, make it 10. And it did affect the line. Like, you can't think about that, right? Like, if you're a bettor, that's kind of unfair.
I just don't see any world where the Jets, with no timeouts, are going down the field, kicking a field goal, getting an onside kick, recovering it, throwing a Hail Mary, and scoring.
It would be unbelievable, but it's the right football play. I mean, I'm sorry for the bettors out there. That just goes with the territory, but it was definitely the right football play.
Yeah. By the way, just so you guys know me, if there's ever a situation where I can get something individual out of something, like scoring a touchdown, even if it's at the expense of the team, I'm going for the touchdown. There's no way I'm sliding there. And anyone who says none of you are going to slide either, you're all going for the touchdown.
Mahomes with 2 Super Bowls and 2 MVPs, I don't know if he needs to stat pad at this point, so I think he's okay.
I am walking in, grittying into the end zone.
You're actually grittying, yeah.
This is Pat Boyle would be the person who, on a breakaway, is so busy, like high stepping, throwing up the deuces, whatever, that he actually drops the football like at the 1 yard line. That's a Pat Boyle.
Like a Deshaun Jackson.
There you go. Bogusch, what else you got for us, pal?
Well, 2 teams went 4 for 4 in September. One of them doesn't matter. The other is the 49ers.
McCaffrey's already got 3 touchdowns. They put him into a pistol behind Purdy. Debo was right. 3 are left. They give it to McCaffrey off the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I declare a thumb war. Red Papa Niners Radio. Christian McCaffrey, 177 scrimmage yards. Those 4 rushing scores in a 35-16 decision over the Cardinals. McCaffrey, a franchise record 13-game TD streak. Actually, let me correct my math. I think it was 3 rushing, 1 receiving. Either way, 4 touchdowns, and again, a 13-game TD streak. Josh
A lot of MVP talk about Christian McCaffrey right now. It's the hot topic. Pat, you have some money on that?
No, but I'm thinking about it. I mean, I would love to see what his odds are. But dude, if he's a machine. He is a machine, and he finds the end zone every single week. He scored, 13 straight weeks?
Okay, I'm sorry, but anyone who would put a season-long bet on Christian McCaffrey, clearly you guys have not need a little betting refresher here. I love McCaffrey as much as everyone. 49ers, super fun to watch, all of that. But you think that he's staying healthy for all 17 games? You're crazy.
He's due for some non-injury regression.
Well, but he got traded, to the 49ers, unprecedented health to finish out the year until obviously the quarterback's health was what bit them in the NFC Championship game. I don't know. Not with my money. I wouldn't bet on a year-long award with Christian McCaffrey.
McCaffrey was hurt by the end of the year. I remember he wasn't really out there. He was sort of questionable throughout the playoffs. Yeah, I'm with Maggie. I would not put my money here. And also, it's the Niners. They have 5 guys who'll kill you. Kittle will kill you. Debo will kill you. McCaffrey will kill you. Ayuk will kill you. I can't wait. Sunday, Niners, Cowboys, that is the game of the year.
It's going to be awesome. What else you got for us, Bogues?
Josh Allen accounting for 5 scores in that 48-20 destruction of the Dolphins in Buffalo. Lamar Jackson threw for 2, ran for 2. Ravens 28-3 winners in Cleveland. The Browns didn't have Deshaun Watson. Other injury news, Pats linebacker Matthew Judon suffered a possibly season-ending biceps tear in that 38-3 shaming in Dallas. And the Colts expected to open the 21-day practice window on Jonathan Taylor this week. He's on the PUP list thanks to that ankle issue. There's also the trade rumors. None of those talks have happened apparently recently. The Blazers wheeling and dealing still. Drew Holiday came over in the Lillard trade. Now he goes to Boston for Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, and 2 future first-round picks. The Marlins lost in Pittsburgh on the final day of the regular season 3-0, but the Diamondbacks fell to the Astros 8-1, so Miami does not need to come to New York today to resume a game with the Mets leading 2-1 top 9. That result actually becomes a Mets win, doesn't change the final standings. The Marlins get the second wild card spot. They'll play the Phillies. Arizona's number 6 and gets the Brewers. And speaking of those Mets, Buck Showalter is out as manager a year after winning NL Manager of the Year following 101 wins and a wild card spot. Guys, I'm done.
Andrew, thank you so much. You know what just dawned on me, and we'll see you guys on the phones. We got so much more to do here. The Drew Holiday, just quickly, getting traded for 2 future firsts. So Drew Holiday got more first-round picks than Dame Lillard did. It was only 1 first-round pick and then pick swaps that Portland got from Milwaukee for Dame. Obviously, they got players and stuff like that. So Drew Holiday was 2 first-round picks. That's crazy.
I actually like this fit a lot. I was talking to our boss, Spike Eskin, who, like me, is a Sixers fan.
Yeah.
He's not terrified of Drew Holiday in Boston, but I am.
A lot more to do. Again, see you guys on the phones. We will get to you. We promise. Got to take a quick break. Coming up, oh, boy. The one thing that Perloff and I got very, very wrong this weekend. We'll all have a good laugh. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Then the Jets did the same.
Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Back on Maggie and Perloff. We're so happy, Maggie, because we've been 3 to 6 Eastern on CBS Sports Radio, and we have so many great callers. And we were curious, are they going to be up with us in the morning? Of course, you can call us 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. And it looks like they're coming with us, Mag.
Let's go to the phones. Big Dave is in Kentucky, our pal Big Dave the Warden. Hey, Dave, how are you?
What's up, guys?
You sound bright and chipper this time of day.
Yeah, I literally just got out of the shower. I'm brushing my teeth.
Yes.
Hey, listen, if the Patriots were to move on from Bill Belichick, Mike McCarthy would be fired so fast, Jerry Jones would be pushing his office chair out.
Dave, I agree with you. I think that I didn't think about the Cowboys per se, but I think that if Robert Kraft does this and they push out Belichick, he will have a job tomorrow or the next day, whatever. There are so many teams that want to know the secret sauce about Belichick. And I know it doesn't look great lately with what he's done of wide receivers and the offense, but he still has so much knowledge about how not to lose. Like so many teams that are good end up shooting themselves in the foot. Big Dave's Cowboys, one of those teams perennially. I think people would still believe Belichick puts you over the top.
Well, no, it'd just be Vince Lombardi finished his career in one season in Washington, and it's hard. You can't reinvent yourself at that age. If he went to Dallas, Dave, would that work? Let's be honest. With Jerry over his shoulder, I feel like that's a bad situation.
I don't know. I think it would. I think that's probably the only situation that Jerry may actually step aside and let him do his thing. I believe that. I mean, Bill Belichick is probably the only human being in the universe that would be the case with Jerry Jones. And what's up with all the Zach Wilson hate this morning? I mean, this is scandalous. I mean, the guy looks like the guy looked like Elway, man. I mean, for like 3/4 of the game. What's up with y'all, man?
The new audience doesn't know your sarcasm, Dave.
Yeah, I know.
They'll learn fast. Thanks, guys.
Dave, appreciate that. Thanks for getting up with us this morning. Don't forget, Belichick's mentor is who?
Bill Parcells.
Also spent time with the Cowboys, so,
That's interesting. I'll admit, you might have opened my eyes to the next chapter.
There you go. Our pal Jay is in Alabama. Jay, thanks for getting up with us, pal.
This is my get up time. I prefer y'all this time of day because I like to get up in the morning and listen to something good and go about my day. So this is perfect. I see the new logo. The Perloff looking like a dapper handicapper trying to get everybody on his 3-team parlay.
Yes.
Use the promo code Perloff.
He looking like a smoke show he is. But Maggie, are those black leather pants he got on? Looking like an undercover blackjack dealer?
Yes, that's my other job.
Yeah, y'all look at Vegas all the way. All you need to do, CBS Radio needs to get a studio in Vegas, and the backdrop of y'all will be like everybody walking down the strip early in the morning, like the Today Show or something like that.
I know, Jay. Unfortunately, we'd love to do our show from that new cool-looking sphere, but there's a problem with that. Yeah, that thing looks pretty sweet.
That would be the dopest thing ever. But Big Dave is on to something. Like Belichick going to the Cowboys would be like Saban leaving Miami for Bama. Like when Saban left Miami for Bama, everybody all the trustees, everybody up top at Bama, they got the hell out of his way. And that would be the same thing with Belichick, Jerry Jones would actually get the hell out of the way and just shut up and sit down and let Belichick cook. But I mean, that's in a perfect world. But I mean, Big Dave is definitely onto something. And as far as Zach Wilson, I mean, I keep on saying you got Tyrod Taylor right there playing for the Giants already. I mean, Tyrod has always been a good quarterback. He just gets hurt at the wrong time, and that's like the story of his life.
I know, but Jay, I honestly think before last year when Daniel Jones had like unprecedented health, Daniel Jones can get hurt because he runs a lot.
Yep.
I don't think they feel like they can get rid of Tyrod Taylor.
I don't know. But, I mean, what's the alternative? Like, come on, Zach had a good week. What's going to happen next week? Then what's going to happen the week after that? It might be like a roller coaster. I don't know. It might be lightning in a bottle and he finally wakes up. I don't know. Like, I don't like to doubt people like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because,
I get it. And listen, Jay, the kid obviously has some of the arm talent, right? And Jay, you're the best. Thank you I'm glad that this show actually works out better with your schedule. So we'll get to keep hearing from you. Jay's awesome. Jay's like reading books on tape, making himself a smarter guy. Very interesting dude, along with Big Dave, a lot of our regular callers. The thing is about Zach Wilson is that it's the same as Sam Darnold. It's the same stuff that everyone said about Darnold. A couple wow throws, put together a drive here or there. Now, Wilson's playing on a much better team than Zach Wilson's playing on a much better team than Sam Darnold ever had. But it's like, I don't know what people want to see, what they want to see here. I didn't think last night showed that, all of a sudden Zach Wilson is on this rocket ship to becoming this elite quarterback.
I don't know.
I didn't see that.
I didn't even see any wow throws. There's a lot of short throws. And actually, he did make some plays with his legs. I think that
and Garrett Wilson is just so good.
Yeah, but honestly, I think Zach Wilson could probably move better than Tyrod Taylor at this point. Tyrod Taylor's a little older. I'm not sure he'd be the mobile answer there. One thing about that Nick Saban analogy, going from Miami to Alabama, in this scenario, Bill Belichick going from New England to Dallas, Alabama is the Patriots and Miami Dolphins is Dallas. Like, just because it worked for Saban to go from the Dolphins to Alabama doesn't mean that somebody can hire Belichick. Basically, he built an Alabama-like situation in New England.
Right.
I don't think it works anywhere else. I've been thinking more about this. Yes, he's a great coach, but he has his fingerprints over every aspect of that organization in New England. Everybody's trained in the Belichick way.
Yeah.
He can't just go take another team and have it be his team. So if he went to Dallas, that'd be a nightmare.
Well, here's the thing. One thing about the Cowboys, give them credit. They draft really well.
Right.
Cowboys draft well. And that's maybe one thing where Belichick has had a few more misses than hits lately, which has maybe led to the fact that the Patriots look like not a playoff team right now. Maybe you combined Cowboys being able to draft well with Belichick's X's and O's and in-game execution, and maybe you got something here.
No, the Cowboys, every player on the Cowboys gets a huge bump because of that star in their helmet. They're not as good as we think they are. And the Patriots players, we don't know their names. Guys like Cole Strange out of nowhere are actually better than we think because Bill Belichick plucks them out of nowhere, coaches them up. The opposite of the Cowboys who play okay and get all this hype.
You don't think the Cowboys draft well?
They draft okay, but I definitely truly believe that the star gives you extra credit.
Spoken like a true Eagles fan. Let's get to Hung. He's in Pennsylvania. Good morning, Hung. How are you?
Hey, Maggie. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate that.
You got it, pal.
Hey, I want to talk about the Bengal, the overrated Bengal, and the Ram because of Zach Gelso. If you can give him a shout out. I say the Bengal not going to make playoff because he did not agree with me on the Bengal. I told him the Bengal may have two more wins against the Arizona Cardinals and the Vikings. That's it. That's for the rest of the season because they're garbage. No, for real. And
listen, no, I'm with you. We're going to get to the Bengals and more specifically the AFC North. And Hung, thank you for the call. You sound nice and chipper this morning. We'll pass all that along to Zach Gelb, who is going to be in our spot now, 3 to 6 for a little bit.
Who's a Patriots fan who is very, very depressed on social media. So I don't know if we want to tell him.
I think at some point everything's going to be okay.
So Zach had a hell of a weekend. He saw his favorite coach, Matt Rule, get annihilated, and then he saw his favorite team get annihilated.
Yeah, he was driving around Iowa listening to us on Friday. That is not a fun trip. It's tough being a Matt Rule Nebraska fan right now. It's tough being a Bill Belichick New England fan. So, and he was wrong about the Bengals. I was wrong about the Bengals too, by the way. A lot of us were.
Well, we do have a saying around here, thou shalt not bet against Joe Burrow. It's a commandment, in fact. This is our religion. we might have to rethink it this year because Joe Burrow is just he's a statue, and it's so disheartening to watch him play like this because he's on one leg. Like, this isn't the real guy. This isn't Joe Burrow. This is a shadow of him. There's not an easy answer for what the Bengals should do.
You know, it's funny, too. Their defense got smoked by the Titans, too,
Yep.
who I think, you and I disagree on the Titans. I think they're an okay team. I think they're always a threat in the AFC South because Derrick Henry. I mean, the Bengals could not get them off the field. And Ryan Tannehill looked great. At home, he looked great.
Yeah, my thing about the Titans is that they should be tanking.
Right. Get out of limbo.
Get out of limbo. Tannehill's not the future guy. You have this defense. They're not going anywhere. Vrabel's not going anywhere. They fired the GM last year, so Vrabel's going to be safe. They clearly picked him over the GM. Like, this is a perfect tank opportunity to reset with a quarterback. Listen, you take Will Levis in the second round. You're not sold on Levis. And you have Malik. There's no answer.
But you don't need to be number one to get a quarterback in next year's draft. So maybe they have an answer at 15.
Coming up, the latest from Deion Sanders after a shootout against USC. Got to hear what Deion said that just had us shaking our heads. We'll get to that. It's Maggie and Perloff now in the mornings on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's been on the TB12 method since he was 6. She's on her 3rd scotch. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, taking over mornings here on CBS Sports Radio. A game that nobody thought would be as close and exciting as it ended up being. Last night, the Chiefs escaped MetLife Stadium in front of tons and tons of celebrities, of course. But while Patrick Mahomes, Perloff, had to do everything he could at the end of that game, including some really big runs, getting bailed out with a couple calls, all of it, ultimately, the Jets made the Chiefs sweat a little bit. This is where you and I don't agree. I thought that the Chiefs definitely found themselves all of a sudden in a bit of a dogfight. If the Jets actually had a better quarterback on the other side, It may have really been a moment to test the will of the Chiefs.
I really don't think so. I think if the Chiefs were going against a better quarterback, they would have played that whole game differently. First of all, Patrick Mahomes just got cocky. I mean, the first quarter, he was throwing it anywhere he wanted it, and it was landing perfect place. It was classic Mahomes. And then he's like, I can do anything. And he started backpedaling and throwing the ball loosely, really had 3 picks. Yeah. One was called back. Here's what the Chiefs need to do. They need to run Isaiah Pacheco every play. That dude, there was a tweet that I love. It says he's angry at the ground when he runs. His feet just stomp the ground so hard. So I think that they need to learn how to close out games. Week 1, we saw them against the Lions. They were ahead. They couldn't close that game out either. There's something going on. It's typical Andy Reid, who loves to pass the ball. I think the Chiefs are fine. I think they were sort of playing with their food last night.
But they did close the game out. I mean,
they did close.
After Zach Wilson fumbled the snap, they went on a 7-play drive that salted the game away. Again, some big Mahomes runs, some penalties that went in their favor. If
the final score was 30-20, Patrick Mahomes basically slid with a minute and a half left, and they ran out the clock. Yeah. He was at the 1-yard line, could have walked into the end zone. It'd be 30-20, and I don't think we'd be talking about this game like it was a near miss for the Chiefs. Because I never really thought they were in trouble, and I never really thought the Jets were going to win that game.
Well, and that's also because of Zach Wilson, who now, because he put together a couple drives, basically two drives, like 2 good drives in the game-ish. Now it's like, hey, guys, hold on. We might have something here. You don't. And I'm not trying to be a hater. I just could never understand, after Aaron Rodgers goes down with the Achilles in week 1, why the Jets didn't do more to address the quarterback situation. You wait till after week 3 to bring in Trevor Siemian. That's not the answer. And you just hate to see a wasted season because this defense is so good. They are, Perloff. They are.
I mean, the Chiefs put up 17 in the first quarter. They had no problem when they thought the game was close. The Chiefs stormed right down the field. The first 2 drives, Jets defense didn't look scary to me.
No, but then the Jets defense, turned it up. Now, you think it's because the Chiefs took their foot off the gas. That's not what great teams do, though, and the Chiefs are a great team.
No, the Chiefs love to do that, especially a meaningless Week 4 game against the Jets. They totally fell asleep at the wheel there.
Can we hear from Robert Saleh, please, Pete? This would be cut 4 on Zach Wilson improving.
You know what? Decision making. I shouldn't say decision making. He's always a good decision maker. The decisiveness at which he was making his decisions, he was letting it rip. I thought he did a really, really nice job.
I think that, Robert Saleh's back is about to go out from reaching so hard on that one. The decision-making is good. It's not. And, listen, he lost focus, Zach Wilson did, and took his eye off the ball, and that's what led to the snap, the fumbled snap. And that's ultimately when the Jets looked their most dangerous, and it just all went away with about 6 minutes left to go in the game.
Well, yeah, he lost focus because the guy was about to clobber him.
That's true.
For one thing. He did make some nice throws. You know what does impress me? Zach Wilson to Garrett Wilson. I think that's more of Garrett Wilson, though, the Jets' second-year receiver. He's so good, and Zach can throw to him. I mean, and he actually had some nice throws to Allen Lazard. He can move a little bit. That's one thing that Zach Wilson will give you that you could bring in a veteran. Kirk Cousins, for example, behind that line, he might be a sitting duck. So Zach Wilson can move a little bit. It's not the worst fit I've ever seen. He was okay. I'm not going to say good. He was okay. But here's the problem. You're not going to win any games here. So what are you doing? Where are you building towards the future? Is this all about getting Aaron Rodgers back next year? Then Zach Wilson would be his backup. But I kind of agree with you. I don't see the long-term fit here. In fact, if you're a Jets fan, Pat Boyle said it perfectly. Is this the worst case scenario where Zach Wilson's okay and we stick with him for the next 5 years?
No, see, here's the thing. You've got a situation coming up where you're going to have to decide whether to pick up his 5th-year option because he's a first-round draft pick. And spoiler, they're not going to do that because why would you pay Zach Wilson $20 million? That's basically what the 5th-year option would be. Rodgers comes in next year. I'll tell you what's going to happen. Rodgers is going to come in next year. Rodgers has got how many guys could be his backup? He's got like at least 3 or 4 guys in the league who could be his backup. That's what's going to happen, and Zach Wilson's going to be gone.
Well, Tim Boyle's already there as a longtime backup.
Yeah, but there's other guys who have been in Hackett's system, like Brett Rippon and these other dudes. You can have another backup there.
Yeah, I feel like Jets can't quit Zach Wilson. I think he's back.
Ego.
So if they don't sign him to that 5th-year option, they can still bring him back, right?
Well, he'll just play out the 4th year.
Right.
Yeah, they could do that. He'll be cheap. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Zach Wilson is going to be in a Jets uniform for some time. Honestly, I think the Aaron Rodgers optimism is crazy. People are ignoring the fact, just because I see him on the sideline last night and he's tossing a ball around, he's going to be a 40-year-old quarterback coming off an Achilles, and I don't care how miracle his cure is. This is a bad situation for the Jets at quarterback. Like, it doesn't seem like there's a way out.
There's some major delusion going on about Aaron Rodgers. Now, listen, he deserves the right to prove all of us wrong, right? He said, bring me your doubters, and I'm going to prove everyone wrong. Count me, and I think Perloff, as 2 doubters about a guy coming off an Achilles at 40. But he maintains he wants to come back this season, which seems crazy and also worthless. But I think the Jets are so in with Rodgers, like in for a penny, in for a pound. What's that cliche? They've married themselves so much to him. The leadership, he's going to be back with the team after the bye. Like I don't think they've thought about life after Rodgers.
Totally agree. The thing we disagree about is Aaron Rodgers' mustache is gorgeous.
Yeah,
I don't know what your problem is with
off
that.
On this.
It's nearly perfect. That dude could grow a mustache. I don't know if he's going to come back from his Achilles injury, but that dude's facial hair is on point.
Yeah, if the tendons could attach as well as the hair on the top of the lip, then this dude would be back by week 10.
I think that mustache is helping him heal in a spiritual way because that's what he's all about.
Yeah, he does. He does take his cues from the universe. 855-212-4CBS. But yeah, Pat, was this our poll question today? Why do guys love mustaches? Something like that?
I haven't put one up. I don't think we agreed on one before. Is that what we want to do? Do we want to go with?
This is really off of Aiden O'Connell,
right? Well, Maggie,
quarterback from the Raiders.
But Maggie hates Aiden O'Connell, the Raiders quarterback's mustache.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, Aiden O'Connell without a mustache isn't exactly Jimmy Garoppolo anyway.
Listen, no one's Garoppolo, but
I think you're getting fixated on O'Connell's 7th grade gym class mustache. I think we got to throw that one as an outlier.
I gave you Tom Selleck. I said
Rodgers' mustache is gorgeous,
guys. This is something that this is a lie that guys tell other guys. Not a lie. You guys probably believe it. It's something that guys tell other guys. Hey, cool mustache, and every woman is just like, bleh.
Are you saying guys might say that to get a competitive advantage? If you go to the bar and you say your buddy, hey, that mustache looks great, because you know that women aren't going to like it? Is that what's going on here?
Maybe for some of you, the most competitive amongst you.
Is that a Machiavellian Maggie move to encourage your friends to look bad?
This is what it is. You guys have heard of beer goggles, right? This is a term that you use once you've been drinking, that, the woman looks more attractive than she is or whatever.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. This is, you guys have mustache goggles. Like, you think the mustache looks better than it is, and it's just your judgment is clouded. Something's going on with your brains.
Well, you know what, Maggie? I want to tell every girl that I see with a slicked bun and gold hoop earrings, you know what? Sweet look. You're only the 83rd girl I've seen wear that today. I
would love to watch that in person when you tell a girl that. And she will just about face so hard.
Can we share, by the way, Maggie and I, we got into it this morning. Taylor Swift. I think Taylor Swift, I said to Maggie, well, how come Taylor Swift has no fashion sense? And she did not like that.
Listen, I'm not even a Swiftie, but I mean, she's going to a football game. She's wearing short shorts, leather boots, and a leather jacket. What is she supposed to wear to the game? Like a ball gown?
My 13-year-old daughter says to me, we were having the same discussion, that Taylor Swift dresses like a mom.
Yeah, and I took that personally because I am a mom.
I know. Well, I didn't know how to say that. I was wondering when I told you that if you'd be offended by that.
Well, listen, I die to look like that. Are you crazy? I mean, if that's what moms are looking like these days, then I feel really cool and also very sad for my mom group, because we don't look like that. We don't dress like that.
Whoever the girl was that had the bright orange pants, that was my favorite outfit. And I feel like if you're Taylor Swift, do you need to stand out even more than usual?
I think
Guys,
the
red lipstick is her thing. That's just all. That's not going anywhere.
I think marketing people want her to look relatable. I think that's Taylor Swift's whole thing. So they don't have her wearing some high fashion outfit.
You think Daisy Dukes are relatable? I don't know.
Walk around New York City right now.
Not a lot of women can pull that at all.
I don't know. It's not like she's going to go down the runway. She always looks like that. And her haircut, I'm sorry, this is because her haircut is as plain Jane as possible.
I mean, what is she supposed to have? Like,
I don't know.
She
look it
looks
up.
silly if she came in and she was all like dolled up and looking like she was going to the Oscars. Everyone would be making fun of her about that.
Try and look cool. I don't know.
I think she was.
I don't think she looked cool. My daughter judges her so bad. She's a pop star. Like, there's like nothing indie or cool about her at all.
Of course not. Pop means popular. She's mass appeal. And by the way, we're all marks. If you think that this relationship was real, every commercial break is promoting her movie or something. We've all got, okay? We've all been had. This is a sham.
I had marketing relationship.
I had my ceremonial pillow to scream into when I heard the 30-second reference in the second quarter. And I was waiting for Tirico to drop some lyrics. I was going to go nuts.
They had Carson Daly came on before the game just to describe to non-football fans like what was at stake, sort of, or like what the history was of these two teams, which was kind of funny. There was one point where Tirico says in the second half, "We're sorry we can't talk about the Taylor Swift documentary more. A football game broke out." I was like, look at that. We are living in different times.
Taking my football away from me. That's what's happening. Getting my football taken away from me.
Something tells me you're going to be okay. 855-212-4CBS. Don't worry. Their relationship is only going to last until that movie comes out, and then it's over. And she can go back to dating, like, pale actors who look like they have tuberculosis.
Well, I hope Kelsey pulls a Taylor Swift on Taylor Swift. I hope he dumps her right before the playoffs start, and he pumps out the press, and the NFL press takes over the Swiftie press, and he says, yeah, you know what, we got to focus on the playoffs. It was time for a split.
How do you dump somebody in a fake relationship? I'm not even sure how this works.
Yeah, your publicist calls People Magazine first.
You tell people to tell as many people as they can and make it look like you broke up with her.
A couple of statements come out, and that's it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have many questions here. Did Jake Gyllenhaal broke up with her, though, right? Everyone was saying that Taylor Swift breaks up with everyone and she's going to break up with Travis. But is that really how it happens?
No, I think that's why. Listen, Travis is getting a song about him no matter what.
Definitely.
So ultimately, he's going to win in this whole thing. Whether he breaks up with her or she breaks up with him, he's getting the publicity for this. He's going to get a song about him. Like, dude's fine. He doesn't have to slam dunk a breakup on her.
I can already see it now. You're going to have a Taylor Swift lyric saying something like, "You're too busy focused with your stupid little game or games."
Yeah,
and then all girls are going to use that on Ex-boyfriends.
Yes,
You were too busy playing games.
Welcome to your personal hell.
Well, no, it's a Travis Kelce lyric when she mentions 3rd and 12 in the middle of a song.
And why couldn't he get open against the Jets secondary? 855-212-4CBS. Brett is in Arizona. Hey, Brett, how are you?
Hey, how you guys doing? Good to hear you guys in the morning here in Arizona.
We're happy to be on in the morning. We love it.
I'm loving it. I've talked to you guys a couple times before. You guys nicknamed me Kangaroo Man because of the testing a kangaroo truck.
Yes.
So that's who I am, and I'm just super glad to have you guys on when I'm working. I work from 3:30 a.m. till whenever I get done. I just wanted to welcome you guys to mornings, and
Brett,
I'm happy you're around.
This is so kind of you. It's so cool of you to call in, and we appreciate it. I just want to make sure I'm remembering this story right, and we can catch everyone else up. Brett, you test drive cars for a living, right?
Yeah. At the time, that's what I was doing. I'm doing a different driving job now, but at the time, that's what I was doing. Yep.
Right. It's like super dangerous work.
Right. You were in a gulch with a herd of kangaroos.
Yes.
Driving through kangaroos.
Correct.
Yeah. And then what happened?
We told them that you can't drive trucks like that because you're going to break them. That's
Right. Okay. Now it's all coming back. Was there something about the kangaroos that we had gotten wrong?
No, they were kangaroo hunters that were breaking our trucks.
Yes.
And they were complaining about it. And then they found out they were driving across riverbeds at 50 miles an hour, and that's going to break your truck, typically.
Yeah, it's like, come on, yahoos, get it together. You can't go kangaroo hunting in that.
Is this legal kangaroo hunting, or were these poachers?
Yes, it's legal in Australia, and yep. But I also wanted to say, Maggie, I appreciate you standing up for my Cardinals.
Hey, dangerous team right now. Not so much in the win-loss column, but a little dangerous.
And they already beat the Cowgirls, so that's the whole season's made for me now.
Brett, you can rest easy. Hey, great to hear from you. Stay safe out there in whatever, test driving, different car job now. Thank you, Brett.
Avoid the kangaroos in Arizona.
Can you imagine? Like, I know it's different customs in different places in the world, but if you sat down, you were eating a steak, and someone's like, actually, that's kangaroo meat.
I'm sure that happens.
You think we're accidentally eating kangaroo meat?
No. I think you could go to a restaurant that serves game meat. I'm sure they have kangaroo. I'm sure it's delicious.
Ugh, delicious.
I like it's called game meat, right?
Game meat. I love like Perloff, some big hunter.
No. But I'll go to restaurants where they serve it.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I like venison. I like bison. I mean,
you eat alligator too?
Oh yeah, I've had a barbecued alligator down at a really good barbecue place. It's very tangy. Have you ever had it? It tastes like fish a little bit.
I once had a deep fried piece of alligator in New Orleans, and I couldn't tell what it is. Like, you deep fry anything, you can deep fry my shoe and put dressing on it, and I'll eat it. But this is what I can't get over. Perloff I'm a pretty adventurous eater. I think we both love food. We both live to eat. We're those kind of people, but you're okay with. I couldn't eat like alligator, like with the head on.
Oh yeah,
and like the arms. Ugh.
Oh, I've had some really, really well done at like award-winning barbecue places alligator, and if it's done right, it's really good. But I'm telling you, it's very, very gamey.
Like at an LSU tailgate.
What about
type of thing.
when you go to a restaurant and they bring the entire fish head out? Anybody have a problem with that?
I don't prefer it.
Oh, yeah, it's not
Chunks
great.
did.
It's not great to look at.
I don't like the tail either. Like, you can get rid of that too. I don't need to be reminded that this thing once had a life.
What about when you do a whole, roasted pig?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of those either.
The best food in the world.
It is.
A pig roast done well is number one.
But you get to see that, like, you literally look at its face.
Yeah.
Its dead face.
I was once at a pig roast and they cut the ear off and gave it to a little kid and he was like running around with it.
Where do you think hamburgers come from, people? So as long as you don't see the face, you don't remember that you're eating an animal that once lived and breathed on this earth?
This is the best part about living in the year 2023 and before, in this time. I don't have to think about where my food comes from.
When you have
this is great.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you really want to go down that road, think about where a chicken breast comes from and what's happened to those chickens on those farms.
No, but I just got an air fryer. Wow, life-changing.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that.
You got to get on.
Speaking of Brett's frisky Cardinals real quick.
Yes.
Guess the spread next week at home against Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Get out of here.
Think they win that game?
But the Cardinals are favored in that game?
No.
I was going to say that.
Is it only?
I was saying, what do you think the spread is?
I say Cardinals plus 3.5.
The same, plus
4.
3.
Bengals are given 4 points.
Those uniforms on the Cardinals on Sunday, the old school white with that was fire. Not to be the uniform guy, but I really appreciated that. I love I'm in on the Cardinals too. Josh Dobbs is a great story and a very cool guy. I hope that they win.
Yes. You're going to get to know something about Andrew Perloff on the show. Perloff loves backup quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I know Josh Dobbs is a starter now, but as a starter, they don't even sell his jersey in the team store. Perloff loves backup.
Well, and I have a reason for everyone. Josh Dobbs is the biggest nerd in the entire NFL. He's a rocket scientist.
This speaks to you.
Yeah. Oh, he's a genius. He's awesome. He's basically winning games with his math power.
Yes. This is his secret sauce. He can outmath everybody. But how come Ryan Fitzpatrick didn't win more games then?
Ryan Fitzpatrick did pretty good for an undrafted free agent out of Harvard. He won a lot of games.
Yes,
you're going to find some games for the Bills.
Perloff, they gave him $50 million. Dumb. You will find Perloff has a soft spot for all smart people.
Yeah, you must have been depressed to see the Red Rifle go back on the bench this weekend.
Yeah.
Depressed. And how many touchdowns did the Carolina offense score with Bryce Young? That'd be a 0.
Yeah, the only touchdown they scored was that pick 6.
I know. The Panthers, I don't understand why they're tanking because they gave up their draft pick. So obviously Andy Dalton is a much better quarterback right now than Bryce Young. And that's not even to say Andy Dalton's great. Bryce Young's not ready, and he's going to get clobbered.
This is why I was a big fan of Bryce Young at Alabama, but he would not have been my pick number 1. I maintained that through the whole draft process. Meanwhile, I know Anthony Richardson has gotten hurt with a concussion. Did you see Richardson yesterday? And C.J. Stroud? These guys look good, and Bryce Young looks lost out there.
Well, it's tough. The Panthers' talent around him, Adam Thielen being your best receiver,
it's tough.
They did not build an offense that he's going to thrive in. I'm not sure he looks lost, but I worry about the hits, and I just don't understand where you're going. You gave up your first-round pick. What if it becomes a number 3 pick and the Bears end up getting a quarterback and a great receiver? It works out for Chicago. I know Chicago fans are so depressed right now, but we'll get into Caleb Williams later. Ooh.
We've got Deion to get to. We've got Caleb Williams to get to. We've got Justin Fields to get to. So much to do here on the very first morning show for Maggie and Perloff. So glad to have you along the ride with us. 855-212-4CBS. We're back with more after this.
This show is sponsored in part by BetterHelp. Do you ever feel like your brain is getting in its own way? Like you know what you should do, what's good for you, but you just can't do it? Therapy helps you figure out what's holding you back so you can work for yourself instead of against yourself. Sometimes it's a matter of just talking things out so you can get a better understanding of what may be standing in your way, even if that's you.
Perloff, we've all been through some unpredictable times over the past few years, and it's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/MNP today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/MNP.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back on Maggie and Perloff. I'm just wowing the room with my betting expertise on how sure I was that USC Colorado was going to hit the under of 74 points. I'm like, how are two teams going to score 74 points?
I think they hit the over before the fourth quarter
Yeah, it was
started.
practically halftime. I'm like, wait, what's happening here? 74 was not enough. They should have made it 94.
That was
oh,
wild.
well.
That was wild. And we'll get more into Deion Sanders, what he had to say after the game. It is Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It's our first show here in the morning show on CBS Sports Radio. You're going to learn that we love Deion Sanders. At least we love talking about him, and we generally do it every day. We'll get to that after headlines with Andrew Bogusch, who's good enough to join us now. Hey, Bogusch, before you get started on your headlines.
Yeah.
Okay, is this something that we should, make note of from now to forever? This is your tweet from yesterday about the celebrities who are at the Jets-Chiefs games. You said, at least mention that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are there too, and Blake Lively. Do you have a Blake Lively thing that we should be aware of?
Why wouldn't anyone have a Blake Lively thing would be my follow-up question to that. And again, it's just like a political ad, Maggie. Equal time. You want to give me Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, that's fine. But at least mention that we've got Reynolds and Blake Lively. I think Hugh Jackman was there last night. Sophie Turner was there. Sansa Stark. You got to mention everybody. I understand Taylor's the headliner, but the supporting cast was pretty special last night there too.
I love that you're taking up this cause. This is like trying to save the whales or something. We got to make sure Blake Lively gets enough airtime. Like the cameras aren't going to find her.
Bogusch, do you have a type? Do you like tall, gorgeous blondes? Is that your thing?
I prefer not tall since I'm not tall, but the gorgeous blonde thing is a good start, yes.
I love that Bogues loves Blake Lively because I remember watching her in Accepted, and I fell in love, and I was 12. So
have you guys
she's pretty near Bogusch in age.
You guys ever seen the one where she's on the rock and the shark is circling her? I'm obsessed. That's another thing the audience should know. I'm obsessed with sharks. Blake Lively's in one of the scariest shark movies of all time.
Wait, is that the one where they go scuba diving and the boat leaves them?
No.
That's a different one.
That's
what is it a commercial for?
What's that?
Is it a commercial or a movie?
It's a movie.
Oh.
It's a movie, yeah.
Yeah, Bogusch saw it. He's seen all the Blake Lively work. Gossip Girl.
I don't know. We learned something new about Bogusch. Blake Lively. She was jumping up and down so much that her top she almost came out of her top, let's put it that way, and had to hold on for dear life.
Yeah,
Is that so?
Yeah, you can go, I'm sure right now every man's Googling this as I speak, but yeah. That's
It's so weird.
Describe. I can't.
Wait, let me
can't remember this.
What's the name again?
Yeah, right. How do you spell lively?
Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds had a bro date at the football game, and they coincidentally have a big blockbuster movie coming out. It's almost as if they were there in a promotional sense, or am I imagining that?
But you're the one telling me about them in a movie. I didn't know that until you brought it up, because NBC didn't tell us they were there last night.
Oh, yeah, because they didn't have paid commercial like Taylor Swift.
Yeah. The other part, too, a little surprised. They all had to go through the metal detector. I was a little surprised by that. I just assume that famous people don't have to do anything.
Maybe.
I don't think they believe that they're trying to bring contraband into MetLife Stadium.
Maybe it's not on. Maybe it's all for show.
Yeah.
Well, think about this.
It.
If you're a metal detector guy and Taylor Swift walks in,
You're like, I'm going to need that coat off.
Yeah, I'm going to need that coat off. I think we figured it out, Maggie.
Yeah, it's like, why do I have to take my shoes off?
I found an article, by the way, with the Blake Lively jumping up and down. Not cool to do to me at this early in the morning.
That's something.
She knows it's happening. She covers up.
There's not. We'll find a cold shower for you around here somewhere. All right, Bogusch, what do you have for us for headlines?
Let's say Patrick Mahomes threw 2.5 picks on Sunday Night Football. The first two helped the Jets erase a 17-0 hold. The last one came late in the fourth with KC trying to put the game away, but there was a flag on the play. Shockingly, Andy Reid agreed with the call.
Listen, I thought it was a hold. I've got to go back and look at the tape on it. He was on the other side of the field, but they're aggressive, and so they're going to get a couple of those.
The call went against Sauce Gardner.
Wait.
Frustrating. I ain't even gonna lie. You know, like I said, if you really gonna call hold, call it early. Don't wait till after you see MC pick the ball off to throw the flag.
Bogusch, what about the safety on Jawan Taylor when he grabbed his face mask at the 1 yard line, and they said everybody, including Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, knew that was not a safety. They should have been at the 1 yard line. And they're like, it's 17-0. We got to make this a game. It's not like they didn't throw a million flags against the Chiefs, too. Do not present this biased report saying that the Chiefs got lucky here, because there were a million calls against them.
The Chiefs did get lucky on that particular call. They also got lucky when no one called holding on that 3rd and 22 Mahomes run, which helped him run for 25 yards.
That's true.
And the first end. It probably, in the end, it maybe broke even, but that play might have changed the game back into the Jets' favor. Again, it was a hold on Gardner. Drive continued. Chiefs get the final 7+ minutes off the clock after Zach Wilson fumbled the snap. They win 23-20, and that's 3 in a row now for the Chiefs. The Eagles are 4-0, gift-wrapped a 34-31 OT win over the Commanders because Ron Rivera didn't go for the winning 2-point conversion after his team scored on the final play of regulation.
They were gassed. They really were. I mean, it was a long-ass drive. They were hurrying. They're hustling. I really thought, we had the chance. And that's too bad.
So they got the ball. No, please go ahead.
So, Riverboat Ron, right? This is always thing that Ron Rivera, Riverboat guy. I've seen him, by the way, and we all have, seen him go for 2 against the New York Giants in a divisional game 2 seasons ago with no time left on the clock, and they end up not getting it, and they ended up losing. We know that he's willing to take these kinds of risks. I know what this is. This is... Commanders keep kind of like coming back in these games. I think maybe Rivera sees Bieniemy behind him and is like, oh man, if they fire me, they have someone. Jack Del Rio's not taking over as head coach on the defensive side. But Eric Bieniemy might actually be a future head coach. And I think he's trying to play a little more conservative and try to win the game because this is not Ron Rivera, right? He always goes for it.
I mean, if anyone was going to go for it in that situation, to me, that's almost a guaranteed 2-point conversion try. You're on the road. You're the underdog. You're coming from behind. It's the last play of regulation. Every coach goes for 2 there, and then he didn't. Maybe you're right, but it was not the right call in my mind.
Wait a second here. I see what you're doing. So basically, you're saying the Commanders handed the win to the Eagles.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know if they convert the two, but they should have gone for the win there, and they didn't, so shame on them.
So the Jets lose, but sort of in your mind won, and you haven't even said it yet, but Colorado somehow won by losing 48-41. What happened to the standings? 4-0 is 4-0. There's 2 undefeated teams, and Philadelphia is one of them. That's the bottom line. Okay. I don't care how they got there. They're 4-0, Bogusch.
Perloff gets up in arms real quick about the Birds.
I think, yes, you're going to find this, that Perloff loves his Eagles. However, I do believe it was Andrew Perloff quoting someone on social media last night when he said Jalen Hurts isn't running because there's all that gold in his pockets. Was that not you saying you think you agree with that?
So Hurts is down to 3.3 yards per carry from 4.6 last year and like 5.6 the year before. There are some reasons. It's partly because of the brotherly shove is killing his rushing stats. But there was a play last night where he was out in space with a linebacker, and instead of outrunning him like he's always done, he just went straight to the ground. I'm like, oh, that dude got paid. Which makes me I'm not scared of that. Because come playoff time, he's going to run again, just like Patrick Mahomes did last night, and the Eagles are going to be fine. But right now, he's like, I'm not putting my body out there. I got plenty of cash.
Listen, Bogusch, we'll get back in a second. Last thing on the Eagles, I think everyone else who's not an Eagles fan, which is all of the rest of us, a little bit happy they finally got a penalty on that stupid brotherly push, tush push, whatever you want to call it. Finally, that play didn't work for them for once.
Wow, then they did a fake where Hurts ran around the end. I know it's annoying, but they used it about 10 times yesterday. It's not going anywhere. And the brotherly shove is such a great name. I don't know who came up with it, but it feels like that's now part of the NFL lexicon. Why every team doesn't do it, I don't understand.
Bogues, what else you got for us?
Right? Everyone's got basically the same personnel, 5 or 6 fat guys and a quarterback who needs to fall forward and a running back with arms to push him. Everyone should be doing this. I don't understand why they're the clubhouse leaders in this category.
Right. Josh Allen, Maggie's
I'm
quarterback.
begging for the Bills to do this.
Yeah.
Begging them.
Well, Staley tried it, and I don't know, it wasn't the push, but you got to dive down. Like Justin Herbert stood straight up and got clocked.
Well, this is why Brandon Staley stinks, is because, of course, you could do a quarterback sneak, but not when Justin Herbert just hurt his hand, non-throwing hand, but he's got a glove on it. He was in the tent for like 10 minutes. Maybe that's not the time to do the quarterback sneak.
Well, it's funny. The Commanders tried it too. Logan Thomas went under center, the tight end, former quarterback, and he stood straight up, so he had a target, and he did not get it. Jalen Hurts goes low. And also, Jalen Hurts can squat 700 pounds. So I'm not sure, Bogusch, everyone has the same exact personnel. And Jason Kelsey's one of the great centers of all time. So I'm not sure everyone can do it. But I do think everyone's going to start trying it. Because why not?
And the Eagles false start on every play, but they don't get called.
Lane Johnson, I don't understand it, just gets a 1-second jump. Like the NFL said, you know what? You've been around a long time. You're good. Just start early.
Okay, enough Eagles talk. Let's move on.
Well, I should say that they did win, air quotes, 34-31 on a 54-yard field goal. It was 51 yards with 1:46 left from Will Lutz. The Broncos getting their first win, 31-28 in Chicago. And as expected, the Buccaneers atop the NFC South after September, 3-1, a 26-9 win in New Orleans. The Texas Rangers spent 159 days atop the AL West, but don't actually win the division. They lost in Seattle yesterday 1-0, while the Astros dumped Arizona 8-1. Poor Bruce Bochy of Sarsaparilla.
It's good to be here. Sure, you want to get greedy and win this last one, but like I said, we just couldn't find a way to win today.
So Houston wins the division. The Rangers end up the 5 seed, have to play a wild card series in Tampa Bay. Now, that Rangers-Mariners game began with Seattle righty George Kirby throwing a knuckleball to honor Tim Wakefield, the Red Sox favorite, passing away at just 57 after battling brain cancer. From Milwaukee to Portland, now to Boston, Drew Holiday traded to the Celtics for Malcolm Brogdon, Robert Williams, and 2 future number ones. WNBA semifinals, the Liberty closed out the Sun 87-84 in Game 4 in Connecticut. Game 1 of the finals is Sunday in Vegas. And Kevin Harvick lost the NASCAR Cup race at Talladega by 0.012 seconds to Ryan Blaney. Then he got DQ'd for loose windshield fasteners. Blaney, meanwhile, qualifies for round 2 of the postseason. Guys, back to you.
Not to be a name dropper, but you're talking about Ryan Blaney, right, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah. I once got to ride in like a car with him. like going around the track at Homestead. I know. Hold for applause, everyone. I was a passenger in the car, and he was going like 100 and he was doing like 170 in like a Ford. And I've never been more scared in my life. And he then started driving with just one hand. And I was like, oh, I think I'm going to lose it. And it was very scary, but he was very in control. And that's my story.
I would think 170. That's nothing.
It was like in a pickup truck, though. We were doing some promotional thing for Ford at the time. It wasn't like in a race car. It was in a regular car.
Were you wearing a seatbelt?
I think I was wearing 2. I was also wearing a diaper because I was very, very, very nervous about that. Okay, we got a lot to get to, including Deion Sanders. We call it the Daily Deion. We'll get you all the latest and more from the NFL from yesterday. So much to do. This is Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, now on in the mornings in CBS Sports Radio. Don't move. We're back in moments.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Is brought to you by Wesley Financial. If you're stuck in a timeshare and want out, contact Wesley Financial Group now and get a free timeshare exit information kit at wesleyfinancialgroup.com.
Daily.
Do you believe that?
Deion.
You believe that?
Listen, Deion's one of the biggest stories in sports, if not the biggest. So we like to lean into things around here in the Maggie and Perloff show. So we do a segment called Daily Deion. We'll get you updated on all the latest. Today's comes from post-game Perloff, Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, early afternoon.
Early afternoon. In Boulder, Colorado. Colorado loses to USC. One-score game.
Sort of.
Here was Deion in his press conference.
A wonderful win. Joking. Wonderful game. Played our hearts out. I just addressed the team and told them that I love each and every one of them, and coaches included.
Wonderful win.
Yeah.
They lost 48-41 to USC.
Well, obviously he's joking, but I think that joke speaks to something that is really essential to this whole Deion story. Like just the fact that everyone is treating Colorado like they're the number one team in college football.
Yeah.
There's a delusion around all this. Deion has created this fervor that even a loss to USC is like a win, which I think must annoy some people. It has to.
Well, it might annoy USC. They were the actual winners of the game, but I think Deion was right in this sense. Right. I know it was a loss, but it did almost feel like a win because they got so blown out by Oregon the week before. You're wondering, is this going to be like a Bishop Sycamore situation and they're going to get killed by USC? And that didn't happen at all.
Well,
they ended up coming back in the second half. They hung with them. They got a crucial score before halftime, and then it was a game in the second half.
Okay, well, their offense moved the ball well. But they were down 34-7 and 41-14. I mean, this was kind of a blowout where USC, whose defense is already shaky, went into full prevent. The safeties moved way back and said, go ahead, move the ball. We don't care. We're up by 1,000,000 points. So it's a lot like the Jets game. I honestly think that USC took their foot off the gas, and Colorado's offense is good. They can move the ball. Now, listen, Colorado was down Travis Hunter, who's probably the best cornerback in the country.
Might have actually made a difference in this game.
Definitely.
Would not have made a difference in the Oregon game.
And Shiloh Sanders. So their secondary was depleted. And obviously USC and Caleb Williams, they're everything so quarterback, can move the ball at will. I don't think the game was anywhere near that score. I do think that there is going to be at some point, and maybe I'm leading it right now, there's going to be some backlash against Deion Sanders and stuff because everyone's like, oh, this is great. Like he came close to winning. Like, oh, this is great. Like there are all these celebrities here. It just feels like Deion's created all this hype, and now they really have to deliver something on the field. And a close loss is what they're delivering?
Dude, they did deliver. I mean, USC was a top 5 in some polls, was like a top 5 team going into this game.
When it was 34-7, when you were watching it, did you say, oh my gosh, Colorado's delivering?
No, but the fact that they did actually come back, and if maybe they had managed the game actually a little bit better down the stretch, perhaps we're talking about something even a little bit more exciting. I think the fact that they didn't get blown out, they made it competitive and came back against all odds actually that is a feather in the cap for Deion. That is a reason to get excited here. And listen, we've been talking about Taylor Swift and Blake Lively and all these people at the Jets game. Everyone loves when celebrities are at games. This is fun. We don't love it jammed down our throats necessarily, but we do like it when stars show up at games. Like, that's a positive for Deion that he gets all these big-time athletes and people at the games.
So
that's great.
What are we doing as a sporting public when we're rewarding losses and be like, you don't get points for having celebrities in the stands? I honestly feel this is starting to verge on craziness. All this focus on celebrity. Honestly, George is about to three-peat. Caleb Williams is about to be the first two-time Heisman winner. And here we're talking about the fact that Terrell Owens was on the sideline rooting for Colorado.
Was that tie-dye he was wearing?
I love that sweatshirt, by the way. I really want to hold of that. But I think that all this hype is just hype. It's not real.
No, this is why it actually is real, is because Colorado was a one-win team last year. And it's already flipped, even though their record is now 3-2. Okay, you get hammered by Oregon, but you hang with USC, who, according to the polls, is better than Oregon. That's an upgrade. You made yourself better from 1 week to the next. You've shown that you can actually hang with a big team when we weren't sure about that after the Oregon game. So yeah, you do get a little moral victory here. I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay, but the way, first of all, Gus Johnson was ridiculous, the Fox broadcaster. It basically was rooting against USC. Like, I understand you can root for Deion in Colorado. I just think the fact that Deion is convincing people that a loss is actually a win is where we are right now. It's all gotten a little out of control. Listen, I love that celebrities are there. I love how talented Shedeur Sanders is at quarterback. He is so fun to watch. I love that Deion is obviously doing a fantastic job coaching. But can we have some reality here? Can we reward the best teams in the country, the teams that win?
Okay, well, when Georgia, first of all, was a little closer against Auburn than
I thought it was going to be. That was ugly.
But this is the more new interesting thing. Speaking of Shedeur Sanders and trying to convince, and watching Shedeur, Deion is in like an open campaign to keep his son at Colorado and away from the NFL draft. This was Deion. Pete, if we can play cut 12, this was Deion who's talking basically to his son about this is why you got to stay at Colorado.
If you can't see what's coming with CU football, you've lost your mind. You just a flat-out hater. If you can't see what's going on and what's going to transpire over the next several months, something's wrong with you.
This is what he was basically saying to Shedeur.
So wait, that actual cut, was he talking about Shedeur when he said that?
Yeah, so he was saying that, this is why we're getting calls from receivers all around the country who want to come here and play. He goes, and that's why I'm telling Shedeur, this is why you got to stick around, because we're going to be even better and we're going to have this great offense.
Can he say that around the dinner table? Why does he have to say that to the press?
You got to apply pressure.
I have the quarterback for Deion. If Shedeur does go to the pros, which I would understand too, there's big money. Malik Murphy, the backup at Texas, can you imagine when he's at Colorado next year? It is going to be. But
a lot of kids are going to want to go.
One thing so I am saying Deion in Colorado is overhyped. I stick to that. I believe it. But when he says get us now, I totally believe that too. Because once he has time to build some depth there, they're going to be elite and they're going to kill the Big 12.
Okay, I do believe in the get us now. The one thing about Deion that I'm just not sure is how long does he actually stay at Colorado? Because I don't know if it's going to be the NFL. He's said so many times, no to the NFL. But another college program, someone who could throw insane amounts of money at him.
I think that, first of all, Colorado will pay up because they're probably making money off of this. So they can probably afford to pay more. I think Colorado has proved to be a great place. The celebrities love going to Boulder. It's sort of a celebrity town, that whole Aspen thing or whatever.
A lot of tech money there.
There's a lot of Hollywood connections to Colorado, and obviously all the stars will come there. Also, competitively, they're going to the Big 12 next year. They're not going to have to face USC and Oregon. They're going to have to face Kansas State and Kansas.
USC and Oregon are going to the Big 10.
Yeah, that's a good point. They're not going to have to face anybody in the Pac-12.
Yeah, no, Pac-12 doesn't exist anymore.
But I
sadly.
do think they're in great position to make the playoff every year out of the Big 12. I think he's proven Colorado. He likes the cowboy hat and sunglass thing. Now, Florida lost to Kentucky. the other day. By the way, Kentucky and Duke being good at football is really weird. But Florida lost, so maybe Florida opens up, and maybe because it's his home state, that's an exception. But I can't see a place where he's better positioned to win than Colorado. I think he's going to be great there.
Yeah, I just think all options have to be open when you're talking about Deion, because who knows what his next move is. By the way, how does Florida lose to a quarterback that went 9 for 20 for 69 yards for the game?
Oh, because they had a running back went for 280.
I know, but I in this day and age, a quarterback goes 9 for 20 for 69 yards and you win the game.
He could, honestly, I'm a big Devin Leary fan. He couldn't, there was no passing situations because the running back was just running it right down their throat the whole time. When would he have dropped back and thrown the ball?
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. The Weedos and the coffee drinkers, they used to be purple drinkers when we were in the afternoon. Coffee seems more appropriate now. Our pal Jay in Alabama said, Perloff, Colorado is America's team now.
Oh, well, he's a Cowboys fan, so he would think the two seem connected. Teams built on hype and cowboy hats.
And being interesting, yeah, Pat.
Yeah, I was going to say, college football is not like the NFL, where even though now the Cowboys are questionably America's team anymore, there's no college football team that's America's team.
I think Colorado's pretty damn close. I think Jay's right.
Honestly, you guys, how are you going to root for the Buffs when the Final Four is on and they're not there?
Well, we'll cross that bridge. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. All right, coming up, a lot more to do, including the scariest looking team in the NFL. Give you a hint. It ain't the Chiefs. Get to that in just moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, taking over for mornings here on CBS Sports Radio. And the Chiefs do get a win last night over the Jets, Perloff. It wasn't super convincing. Patrick Mahomes threw a couple picks. Could have had another one, but it got negated. And the Chiefs are obviously the reigning Super Bowl champions. They deserve the crown until someone comes and takes it. However, the Bills looked really good yesterday against a division foe in the Miami Dolphins. Now, that's not new that the Bills would beat the Dolphins. They've kind of had their number recently, but that was massive because the Dolphins could have gone up 2 games in the AFC East. Bills had to get themselves back in the conversation. They did, and I think you're going to get a lot of people back on the Bills bandwagon now after seeing what they did against Miami and looking at the Chiefs, okay, narrow win over the Jets. I know the Bills lost to the Jets earlier this year, and saying, man, maybe the Bills actually have figured some things out.
Yes, but, and I hate to do a but because I know you're a huge lifelong Bills fan.
Yep.
Tre'Davious White, torn Achilles, out.
It's a bummer.
Jordan Poyer, the safety was gone. So I do think, it's week 4. This is a long, long season. And last year, a lot happened with health. I just worry that, making any assumption after that win over the Dolphins feels kind of shallow to me in the sense that, I think the Dolphins are going to be right back. I wouldn't be surprised if they split. There's a long season ahead. And we've seen this movie before with the Bills where they have great regular seasons.
Yep.
Again, is there anything different this year?
Yes, there are a couple things that are different this year. Number one, defense is playing better than I think anyone believed. The pass rush is getting home on guys and disrupting without Von Miller, who comes back maybe this week.
Right.
So you have that going for you, even though that Tre'Davious White injury in the secondary is massive. And you also have a more disciplined Josh Allen. This was a shootout in the beginning of the game, and you're wondering who's going to blink first, who's going to make a mistake first, and what's going to happen. And surprisingly, actually, it wasn't Josh Allen because he can be prone to going for the home run play when the home run's not necessary, and a bunch of singles would actually be better. And it seems like that message has gotten through to him. They're using the run game more. This is a much more dangerous team, and one that, quite frankly, looks more built to win in December and January, where before the Bills always looked like a dome team that was playing in Buffalo, New York.
Oh, gosh, this is so fun to see. You get your expectations up in September, October. I see it's almost exactly the same team that's been coming short in the postseason. They're going to be 12-5, 13-4. Honestly, I don't even want to talk about it till they show that they can stay disciplined. If Josh Allen can do all these things throughout the playoffs, and Von Miller, who's quite old right now, can stay healthy, and who knows what's going to happen here. I think you could look at last night's game and say, oh, the Chiefs look vulnerable. That wasn't vulnerable. They were just sort of toying with the Jets.
And Jets defense is good. Like it's just legitimately good. And if the Jets had a better quarterback, the Chiefs probably would have lost that game if they were playing that way.
What does that even mean? They had a game, and honestly, I don't think that's true. The Chiefs, when they thought it was a game, they stormed right through the Jets defense like a knife through hot butter, to use a cliche.
Yeah.
They had no problem with the Jets defense until they started playing sort of protect the game, and Mahomes started screwing around and trying to make some highlight plays in front of Taylor Swift.
He was trying to impress Taylor Swift.
Yeah, so everybody does these power rankings in the NFL. And I do think some people are starting to move the Bills above the Chiefs. I'm not going to do that until the postseason. I refuse. I don't care what. As long as Mahomes is out there, I'm putting the Chiefs number 1 and the Bills number 2.
I'm not putting the Bills over the Chiefs either. The Bills have to prove that they can beat the Chiefs in the playoffs in order to do that. I'm with you. But things are shaping up a little bit better in the AFC than I think, for the Bills, that is, than I think we previously thought. We talked about the AFC. It was going to be a juggernaut. There's going to be so many amazing teams in the AFC. Well, the Chiefs still are amazing. Despite last night, they didn't look incredible, but they got the job done. The AFC North is on life support right now. You had Deshaun Watson didn't play. Kenny Pickett got hurt. Joe Burrow is just hurt. I don't know what the Bengals are going to do to try to play around this, but they are not a competitive football team if Joe Burrow can't move around a little bit and be on 2 legs. And listen, Baltimore's got the only winning record in that division at the quarter turn, and Lamar's fine, but they're so hurt every other place. They've got so many injuries. The Chargers don't look amazing. The Jags are fine, but don't look like world beaters. Like the AFC is loosened up a little bit. This is a good spot here for my Bills.
It's the same spot it's been. What has the Final Four been the last 5 years? It's been the Bills, the Chiefs, really like nobody else has been consistent, and the Bengals. So you're saying that the Bengals do scare you.
Exactly.
So it's still the Chiefs. I mean, they have to really show something here. Now, let me ask you this, as a Bills fan. Would getting home field and winning these games, how important is that?
Well, if they're playing like this, where they actually lean on the run game and the pass rush can get home, then the home field advantage is huge. Actually, Sean McDermott was in Peter King's Football Morning in America, credited the crowd, play of the crowd, every coach does it, about the crowd noise completely got caused some pre-snap penalties for the Dolphins, 100%.
I mean, they did get destroyed by the Bengals in Buffalo last year.
They did.
Here's my other question, too. Like, everyone's on Miami. They probably should have lost week 1. I think they were completely overrated. But that being said, the final score was 48-20. I didn't come away from that game saying, ooh, these teams are so far apart. I think Miami will have something to say about this division as well. Definitely. I don't think that race is over.
No, I don't think the race is over. And listen, here's the thing, though, about the Dolphins. They got some breaks here early with the schedule where they got to go to New England in September and to Buffalo the first day of October. That's a break for them, so they didn't have to play in the cold and the snow, and they split instead of going 2-0 there. So, this is going to be tight. The AFC East is basically, a 2-horse race because the Jets, there's some things they're doing really well, but ultimately they find the banana peel.
I can't deal with optimistic Maggie in the morning. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. This is what you're. Me. So 2 weeks ago in the afternoon, just so you guys know, Maggie thought the Bills were probably going to lose to the Raiders. Who was the other?
I did.
You were terrified of the Commanders or something. I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. You lost a bet with our former Stu, who was on the show in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You had no faith in this team, and so they beat the Dolphins, who you, in my opinion, were overhyped on. I just think that I can't handle this, and now I'm rooting against the Bills.
Overhyped. The Dolphins are coming off
Yes,
scoring 70 points.
70 points. Then you saw Justin Fields throw 4 touchdowns in 3 quarters against that same Denver defense. It became pretty clear that was not a function of the Dolphins being awesome. That was a function of the Broncos being terrible.
Yeah, the Broncos defense may have saved Fields' career. It's possible.
Well, I think no, because next week, if the Bears are like the Dolphins, they'll totally be disappointing next week because they won't be facing Denver's defense.
No, but they at least showed like the kid could be at some points capable of throwing
against
on a bad defense.
Against Denver, we'll see if he could ever do it again.
Yeah, he's got the short week against Washington. He's going to get crunched by Montez Sweat,
Chase Young.
Chase Young.
I don't think you're going to have a new coach for Chicago. How do you fire a guy on a short week? Usually you got to fire somebody on the bye.
Great
it's
point.
like this, but that's the only thing saving them. It's like, this is the team. You know your team, right? You know your team. So when you have the opportunity to kick a field goal, to go up on Denver and to maybe put yourself in position for a win, you're deciding to go for it on a 4th and short. What has ever caused you to believe, Matt Eberflus, that your team is going to be able to convert that 4th down? And that's not a second guess. That's a first guess. Like, dude, what are you doing? Clearly, you're not watching the game.
I agree with you. When that happened, I could not believe it. I did think Russell Wilson was playing well, and Denver might have scored anyway. Denver looked like they kind of had control offensively. But that was a crazy risk. Everybody's kind of doing that right now. The 4th and 1, 4th and 2 around the league. Yeah, maybe it's gone too far. I'm an analytics nerd myself, but that one, Eberflus, I felt bad. I felt like this is the last stand of Matt Eberflus.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple guys who I think are going to be looking for, or at least their fan bases are looking for an early exit. 855-212-4CBS. Like, how do we get away from this guy? Let's go to Foxy, who's in New York, wants to talk about the Chiefs. Hey, Foxy.
Hey, Maggie. First time, long time. Great to be back.
Appreciate you. Good morning.
I actually met you back in 2019 when Miraz was producing your show on the local side. So, happy to hear you in the mornings again.
Dude, where you been?
I've been on this mothership. Luckily I just got off. I'm doing well. I'm feeling good.
And we should say we love the D-aliens have come over from DA show. We love DA. He's our friend in real life and also like professional colleague, but we can't say enough good things about DA, about Bellotti, Bogusch, Pat. Like we've felt at home here.
Maggie is Pete the Body, the other PB boy, Patty Boyle, and then the kind sir, Andrew Bogusch.
There you go. What else you got for us, Foxy?
The real takeaway from this game is how Patrick Mahomes, he screwed everybody. He needs to be getting into the end zone there, Maggie. It was perfectly set up. The Jets have all this hope. They have this long 7-minute drive against them that they're just never going to get the ball back. And it's like, okay, they're going to go in here and score. They're going to cover. And there's really nothing to talk about. That would have been, the perfect ending to the Jets, getting all excited. They're tying it up. A classic Zach Wilson turnover, and then Mahomes goes in there and covers.
I'm sorry, Foxy. I think I know where you had some money on this game, and it's great to hear from you.
I will say the last thing, Maggie, is that the Jets, they can only play well when they play the Bills. That's the point, I guess.
Man, no truer words were ever spoken, Foxy. You're so right. The Jets always play the Bills very tough, no matter what the records are. It's like they just know each other so well.
I wish so badly that Patrick Mahomes had walked into the end zone. So badly. Because if it was 30-20, there would be no Jets hope. There would be no Zach Wilson played well. It'd be a double-digit win. Chiefs would have covered. We all could have gone on with our lives without this flickering notion that Zach Wilson's going to be a good quarterback for the Jets.
Wait.
I just wish it had been completely extinguished and we never have to talk about it again.
Listen, I didn't think that Wilson, outside of a couple drives, he didn't put together this sustained, consistent game, which is been the whole issue with Zach Wilson ever since he was drafted. But you did have Chris Collinsworth on the broadcast last night saying he's playing the best we've ever seen, or I don't know. Collinsworth was throwing around a lot of Zach Wilson love.
Trying to make it interesting. Yeah, all this emphasis on moral victories and close losses. I'm sorry, I'm old school. I go by the standings, win, loss. That's all I want to hear. I don't want to hear this was a great loss by Colorado or a great loss by the Jets. There's no great losses. You win the game. You play to win the game.
Yeah, thank you for that, Herm. I think that I think there's gray area here. It's not always so cut and dry like that.
Yes, it is. There's those participation trophies. What are we doing here?
No, there is definitely participation trophies. I was raised in the participation trophy era.
Obviously.
Listen, don't blame me. I wasn't the one giving them out. Someone was giving me a participation trophy. I think there's such things as moral victories. You and I just don't see the world the same way.
Yeah, my Eagles are 4-0, and your Bills are 3-1 because you lost to the Jets, and now you're thinking, oh, this is a year we turn it around.
It does sound delusional when you say it like that. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. I do want to get to Mike Tomlin, Pete, if we can here with a second left. So we're talking about some coaches who we think are deserve to be on the hot seat, put it that way, the Matt Eberfluses of the world. Well, perhaps Matt Canada as well, the offensive coordinator. Oops, sorry, I jumped you. The offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh loses on the road to Houston, a rookie quarterback in C.J. Stroud. This was Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin.
Hell yeah, we got to make some changes, man. That was an ugly product we put out there today, and so we're not going to do the same things and hope for a different outcome. What those changes are, man, we'll put together a plan in preparation this week.
Okay. The Steelers, not usually the type of team that fires people in season. But this offense just is not working. I know Kenny Pickett had to leave the game with a knee injury. You do have a capable enough backup in Mitchell Trubisky. I'm not saying he's going to light the world on fire, but he basically came in and threw for like 18 yards.
Well, I mean, Kenny Pickett didn't throw for anything either. Yeah. There's just no offensive movement whatsoever. Najee Harris actually had a good game, Steelers running back. But full disclosure, I did pick the Steelers to get to the Super Bowl, and I regret it. I thought this defense, which is great, I think they gave up. They obviously gave up on Sunday because if the offense goes out there for 6 drives and does nothing, the defense at a certain point is like, I'm not going to put energy into this. So I don't blame the defense for letting up 30 points. But that offense is, the numbers aren't even saying how bad it is. It's so incompetent. It's so non-threatening. You have to move on from the offensive coordinator. I don't know how you're going to do this with Matt Canada.
It's like Mike Tomlin is telling you there, we can't like just keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. It's exactly what you're doing. Because the fans when the fans can see it and it's so clear as day, the more you fight it, there's obviously need a new voice. Obviously you just need something different in that building.
I was screaming at this game because I picked the Steelers, and I also thought the Texans were going to be terrible, both of which I can't decide which one is more wrong right now. It's sort of a toss-up, but the Steelers are very frustrating too because they have the talent. George Pickens is awesome, their second-year receiver. I think their running backs are both talented. There seems to be some, their line can block for the run. Pickett has talent, but he seems to run into the defenders all the time. It's coaching. There's just no other way to see this.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. We say a good morning. The Weedos, the coffee drinkers, mixing with the D-aliens in the YouTube chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio. We love it. So glad everyone's getting along. We say good morning to our incredible CBS Sports Radio affiliates across the country, and thank you so much for being with us. The absolutely free to download Odyssey app is crystal clear. If you're driving in your car and we kind of go in and out a little bit, the signal, download the Odyssey app. It's right there for you. SiriusXM channel 158 as well. A lot more to do here, including the one thing no one is talking about from yesterday, but they should be. We'll get to that after just a few moments. Come on back on CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. 3 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone, AutoZone. AutoZone's free battery testing and charging is available for free at your local AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Welcome back to the Maggie and Perloff Show, our first show in the morning, having a great time. But I got to tell you already, Maggie,
Yeah.
I'm preparing a criticism for Andrew Bogusch's upcoming update.
Wait,
I'm preparing.
He hasn't even done it yet.
I know, but I have it ready to go. It's something that is going to be missing from his update. I can feel it already, and I'm not going to stand for it. But we'll see. Maybe he'll surprise me and put this element in there, but I have a feeling he's going to miss something.
Wait, so we're going to go through the whole update, and then you're going to tell us whether he hit what you wanted or not?
Basically, because I'm ready to unload on Bogusch here because I feel like he's being biased. I feel like it's an anti-Perloff update so far.
Well, without further ado, we welcome in Andrew Bogusch, who's got the headlines for us, the anti-Perloff Andrew Bogusch.
Why don't you whisper it to people, Adi, what it is, so in case I do mention, you can play some kind of celebration music.
It's like something hidden in the update. I like that. All right, Perloff.
Yeah, well, Bogusch, go ahead. Do what you do, and then we'll see if you find it.
Well, one more for the Wilson over Mahomes crowd. This is from Opta Stats. Zach Wilson is the only opposing quarterback to have more completions, more passing yards, more TD passes, and fewer interceptions than Mahomes in a Mahomes start, college or pro, regular season or postseason, a total of 127 games.
Got
So
lucky.
there's that.
Got lucky.
Relatively speaking, it was going pretty well for Zach on Sunday Night Football. 2 touchdown passes helped the Jets erase a 17-0 Chiefs lead, and Gang Green was driving to tie or take the lead in the fourth quarter, and then this happened.
3 receivers to the right, tight end, closes the formation to the left. Ball snapped to Wilson, fumbles it on the quarterback exchange. The Chiefs think they've got the ball. They've got it at the 46-yard line of the Jets.
That's Mitch Holthus on Chiefs radio. KC got the ball back with 7:24 to play. They made some plays, they got some calls, and they never gave the ball back, winning 23-20. Wilson threw for 245 in those 2 scores. Mahomes had 1 touchdown pass, 2 picks, made multiple plays with his legs in that final drive. His team has now won 3 in a row after losing opening night to the Lions.
By the way, I don't think I didn't notice that editorializing there. They got some calls. They
did get some calls. That's right.
I mean, it was holding. Sauce Gardner held his receiver. That was technically a penalty.
I don't know. That was loose right there for that time of the game. And listen, I'm consistent with this because when your Eagles lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl and James Bradbury got called for defensive holding.
That was a hold for sure.
And even I was like, tough time in the game to finally call defensive holding. I stood up for your team then. So I got to stand up now for Sauce Gardner.
All right.
Tough time of the game.
All right.
Yeah.
From Wilson or Mahomes to, was Derrick Henry or Joe Burrow the better QB yesterday in Nashville?
Rolling, throwing, Tannehill. Touchdown, Titans! Henry, I should say, is the man who rolls and throws. All that movement just freaked me out.
Thoughts and prayers to Mike Keith on Titans radio. Henry also ran for a score like usual in a 27-3 destruction of the Bengals. Burrow did not throw a touchdown. Jamar Chase just 7 catches for 73 yards.
By the way, the Bengals had
I'm always open. Excuse my profanity. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying the Bengals had no interest in tackling Derrick Henry. That was like, our quarterback's hurt. We're not going to tackle this dude. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there on Jamar Chase. That is crazy.
Yeah, and now they are 1-3 going in the wrong direction. The Steelers losing Houston 30-16, and Kenny Pickett left with a knee injury. Initial reports say it's not his ACL or anything else major. Pickett's absence should be short-term. But then there's Bills corner Tre'Davious White, who might have suffered a season-ending torn Achilles in the blowout win over the Dolphins yesterday. This would be White's second major injury in less than 2 years. Ole Miss fined $100,000 as a first-time offender of the SEC's field storming rules for celebrating Saturday's win over LSU. The Athletic says the NCAA's Division I Council will likely shorten the transfer windows when they meet in Indy tomorrow and Wednesday. Currently, players have 60 days to enter the portal, but most only need a few weeks, so it might get cut to 45 or even as far as just 30 days. On the final day of baseball's regular season, the Astros claim the AL West with an 8-1 win over Arizona and the Rangers' 1-0 loss in Seattle. Texas drops to the 5 seed, faces the Rays in the wildcard round. And then there was Terry Francona managing his final game, the Guardians' 5-2 losers in Detroit.
Kind of pissed we lost. But I mean, the grandkids are here, and I'll go take them to dinner and play with them and let them tire me out, and guess I should start practicing that because probably get to do it more, which is great.
Grandpa Tito adding the focus should have been yesterday on the retiring Miguel Cabrera. And the Celtics have finally traded Malcolm Brogdon. They tried and failed once, I believe, for Kristaps Porzingis, but now Brogdon goes to Portland with Robert Williams and 2 future number ones for Drew Holiday, who just went to the Blazers in the Damian Lillard trade. Okay, did I do?
All right, now we get the final verdict here. Perloff, when Bogusch started his update, said he was positive Bogusch was going to miss something that you wanted in the update.
So you did give an update on what's happening in baseball. You had the Terry Francona story. You mentioned the Rangers. At any point in the show, are you going to mention that the NL wild card kicks off tomorrow with my Phillies hosting the Marlins? Is that anywhere in here? We've been on our third hour now. What about the Phillies Marlins tomorrow night?
Stand by. Let me check a script. 7:30. The Marlins lost in Pittsburgh. ... They don't have to come here and play the Mets today, so they get the second wild card spot. They'll play the Phillies. Arizona is number 6 and gets the Brewers.
But that's not enough attention on the Phillies. That's like that's a Marlins story. Nobody cares about the Marlins.
For the right to lose to the Braves.
Yeah, right. That's what, of course, Pete is 100% correct. Like, when do you want the pain to come? Now, or do you want it to come in a couple weeks?
Listen, Bogusch, I'm sitting next to a Mets fan, so she's not used to this postseason baseball thing. I mean, it comes, but it goes really quickly.
Don't tell everyone I'm a
spend
Mets
more
fan.
time in the postseason. You have to get used to this. They have all the names have to roll off your tongue because we're going to be around for a while.
Listen, don't tell everyone I'm a Mets fan. I'm trying to get off on a right foot with everyone, with all of our new listeners.
Didn't the Phillies beat the Braves last year in the postseason?
Yeah, Bilotti. What the heck?
You're scared.
I want them all out. Get them all out.
How pathetic are the Rangers? All they had to do was win one more game, and now the Astros win. The Astros are going to have a cakewalk to the ALCS yet again.
So this was something left over from when we were doing afternoons. I just want to see where everybody stands here quickly with the Astros. Did you think that Jose Altuve had a buzzer? Just quick yes or no.
Yes.
Bilotti.
Yes.
Bogusch.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy. I know.
Why would he tell them,
so
don't
dumb.
rip my shirt off?
Yeah.
You don't think that after all this time, someone would have spilled the beans and someone would have said, hey, he had a buzzer under there. Guys would have turned on each other. They would have leaked the story.
It took 2 years to find out they were hitting garbage cans.
The manager got suspended for a year.
Don't you think somebody would have spilled the beans by now if there's aliens?
People keep trying to tell us that there's aliens all the time. We just won't listen.
Don't get confirmation.
Listen, that's a whole other can of worms. I just needed to know where everybody lies.
Well, here's how the conversation started. I said to Maggie, I think most people think Altuve had a buzzer. And she said, you're crazy. People don't think that. I'm like, yes, they do.
Yeah.
We all think that.
You might have been right about that. I thought we all got over that. If he had a buzzer, we'd know about it by now.
Maybe that's the poll that I have still forgotten to put up.
No, we've already done this. I need to know who I'm working with now on this new show. You know, I need to know what everyone's tendencies are.
Just to be clear, Maggie is the biggest sports conspiracy theory person here. She's convinced there was a frozen envelope in the Patrick Ewing draft.
Definitely.
I agree with that.
Yeah. She's convinced the Patriots have every cheating allegation, multiply it by 10.
They're still doing it. They're still out there doing it.
Right.
I think you had a summer list of your top favorite Tom Brady conspiracy theories on why he's coming back to the NFL, didn't you?
Yeah, I have that in my back pocket as I carry it around with me all day. I'm a card-carrying member of the Brady Conspiracy Theory Club, and I'm not totally sure that he's not coming back.
He's also an alien. To combine them all together, he's an alien?
Thank you.
So there's that. But wait, Maggie, where are you on Jordan playing baseball? Was he suspended for gambling at that point?
Definitely. Something else behind the scenes there. Something else. Something, the death of his father, like something was playing in big time. Nobody at the peak of their powers like that steps away to go play for Tito Francona and the Barons down in Birmingham. That doesn't happen. I think LeBron James would all of a sudden be like, you know what? I think I'm just going to, walk away for a little bit and try pickleball. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, but a guy who's 5'5" and is hitting home runs and seems to know when a fastball and a curveball is coming doesn't have a buzzer. Okay, Maggie.
And has a super overprotective wife who doesn't want the rest of the world to see his bare chest.
Wait,
that was the story?
No, a bad tattoo, Bogusch. That's what it was.
Yeah, that she didn't want us to see. She was involved. It was about modesty.
Every time when I bring up the buzzer, I brought it up this time. I think of like those joke stores where like someone shakes your hand and like
gag thing.
Yeah, right. It's like I don't know. I don't believe. I think we would have found out about it by now. Anyway, I just wanted to see where everybody was on this one.
A bunch of cheaters.
Tells a lot about you if you believe that buzzer thing.
Anybody who assumes there's cheating in baseball is on the safe side, Maggie. Next, you're going to tell me Barry Bonds was on the juice. I mean, come on. They're all cheating in every way possible.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Okay. Thank you, Andrew Bogusch. Had a lot of fun there, and we'll see you tomorrow. That was our last update of the morning, but that doesn't mean we're done. We've got a lot more to do, including it's really an unsolvable problem for one NFL team, but Perloff and I will try our darndest. Don't move. More Maggie and Perloff right after this.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie and Perloff taking over mornings here on CBS Sports Radio. So glad to have you reacting to a major weekend in the NFL and college. You know, Perloff, I think I can speak for both of us here. When we're wrong, we'll admit it. Right?
Oh, yeah. And often.
We're not stubborn. We're not stuck in the mud. Sometimes we just don't get it right.
Even we can't be right all the time.
Samsonite. I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Time for Maggie and Perloff to own up.
All right. Got to own up on some things that we got wrong. And one of the tenets and commandments on this show is thou shalt not bet against Joe Burrow. So we never do it. Well, turns out we might be wrong because Joe Burrow looks like a shell of himself. His calf, Perloff, is so hurt. And even Jamar Chase is getting frustrated. Let's hear a little bit from the Bengals wide receiver on what's missing in the offense right now.
We practice hard. I don't think it's not that we don't practice hard. Just gotta find. I guess we gotta find that spark. Somebody gotta give us that spark, and somebody gotta make a play. We gotta make plays out there.
Yeah, not happening so far. Chase yesterday, 7 receptions, 73 yards. And, you know, it's obvious what the problem is, which is Joe Burrow's not healthy.
Yeah, and once that sort of goes awry, then you saw their defense just fell apart. I was wrong. I was wrong about the Bengals. I was even more wrong about the Steelers, my Super Bowl pick. But I think I was wrong about this whole division. I think if you put different units together, you put the Browns defense with maybe Baltimore's offense, then maybe you got something going. But
it's like Frankenstein.
And even Baltimore, it looks good now, but they're so reliant on Lamar Jackson moving that is he going to stay healthy? I'm not sure.
If I were the Bengals, you've got Arizona, Seattle, and at San Francisco coming up. These are places I think you can rest Joe Burrow. Then have him maybe healthier against Buffalo and Houston. AFC games that might actually really matter here. I know they're 1-3, but you got to do something.
You know they're not going to rest him. If they played him now, how do you know that resting the calf is going to make any difference? Like
because I'm
3
watching
weeks
him
off?
Rehab, and he goes out there and he's immobile.
Yeah, but I don't know that resting helps. If they're 1-3. If they lose a couple more games, it's probably over now. I don't know what the numbers are on 1-3, but they're not good. And the thing is, their schedule is going to be tough after that. I think you just have to hope that Joe Burrow figures it out. And Maggie, you're breaking the rule again. You are betting against Joe Burrow. And I've seen you do it before, and I've done it before, and it never works out. So we're not totally giving up hope.
Anything else we want to own up to?
Well, as I mentioned, the Steelers. I think this is the last week I have to own up to the Steelers not delivering, because if Pickett is hurt in his knee and is out, then we're already done with this team. All right, is that possible? They play the Ravens this week, and their defense might get to Lamar Jackson, but if they lose this game, it just doesn't feel like there's a way out for them.
I've never seen a team that had this much hope from the preseason and then go into the season and it's just like poof, it's just gone. They played the 49ers that first week of the year. 49ers took their lunch and then they couldn't recover and couldn't get back on track.
Yeah, their defense is fantastic. TJ Watt is a superstar.
Of course.
And that'll win you enough games, but it feels like we're going to have Mike Tomlin's going to keep his above 500 streak alive. They're going to be maybe 8-9, 9-8, but those high-end hopes are not going to happen. So, which kind of begs the question, is this Steelers team ever going to be the elite regular Super Bowl team again? Kenny Pickett, I love Kenny Pickett. I think seems like a great guy. This does not seem like the beginning of the franchise quarterback I expected.
No, and I was a big Pickett defender too, because I thought the criticism about small hands was really, we knew what everyone was doing there. All right. It wasn't cool. I should probably...
You're implying other body parts were at play here?
You guys are implying it.
What matters about the feet?
What's that? The
feet tell the story.
Yeah, and someone would find something wrong with Kenny Pickett's 40 time or foot or vertical jump or something. They were looking for reasons, I feel like, to get on Kenny Pickett. Anyway, we'll see what happens with him. One other thing that I should probably own up to, I might as well just get this out of the way now with a new audience here in the mornings. I picked the Bears to win the NFC North.
Ooh.
That wasn't right.
That's not going to happen.
That was very wrong. And the Bears lost again yesterday, and they're on a short week before they play the Commanders on Thursday night, but I don't even know if that's a reason not to get rid of your head coach. I mean, you got to understand the game. When you have an opportunity to kick a field goal and take the lead after you let Denver come all the way back on you, you got to do that with this type of team. You can't be going for it and taking these big risks when you're just trying to get a simple win.
Absolutely. Off the top of your head, who gets fired first? Matt Eberflus of the Bears, Raiders, Josh McDaniels, or Chargers, Brandon Staley, who might have gotten a lifeline. By the way, we haven't talked about Khalil Mack getting 6 sacks yesterday, which is totally insane. But it feels like to me now we're in a sort of McDaniels, Eberflus race.
I think that you could make good cases here for all of them. I don't think this is like us being coach killers or anything like that. You're watching and asking, is this coach elevating this team? Is this coach helping to get more out of their roster or less? Who can answer yes to Eberflus or McDaniels or Staley?
Right, and they might have flawed rosters. There's a good chance. I mean, the GMs in Vegas have screwed up a lot of picks over the last 10 years. I love Mike Mayock, but he did not leave much there. And I think Ryan Poles has made a couple key mistakes with the Bears, including trading for Chase Claypool, the wide receiver who's been a disaster.
Didn't show up.
Yeah,
to the game.
He was told not to come.
That felt a little PR spin-ish to me. I don't know who's in the right or who's in the wrong.
I don't blame Eberflus for that. I do think the entire roster is flawed. They have Justin Fields there. They don't seem to know how to build an offense around him.
Yep.
And Eberflus is a defensive guy, but honestly, who hires a defensive guy now, especially one who's not a dynamic leader? He's going to take the fall. But I do worry about the whole team building here. Say they get Caleb Williams out of USC next year, I'm like thinking to myself, this is not the spot for an aspiring quarterback. So maybe Chicago's in a really bad spot moving forward.
Yeah, it's never been. And that's funny because watching USC play Colorado and just watching Caleb Williams all the time, it's like, what could possibly go wrong that he wouldn't pan out in the NFL, right? And Pat Boyle actually said, what if he gets drafted by the Bears? I mean, that's kind of the only thing that feels like it could go wrong because Caleb Williams is so polished right now.
Right.
He looks so good. You wouldn't argue if he was a 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. Like, he's just excellent. But if he went to the Bears.
Well, it's like Andrew Luck is similar to Caleb Williams, was a can't-miss prospect, but went to Indy where there was no offensive line. And he won a lot of games, but he had a lot of injuries. I worry the same thing would happen to Caleb Williams in Chicago. It's just the wrong place right now, unless the right coach is there. How about if I give you Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams in Chicago? Throw a ton of money at Lincoln Riley, the USC coach, and see what happens.
Why am I leaving USC to go to the Bears? Why would I? I mean, at some point, it's a lifestyle decision, right? I mean, I know Chicago's a great city. I'm not knocking Chicago. But if I'm like in LA.
Yeah. Well, the NFL might be attracted to Lincoln Riley or to an aspiring coach. But
the Bears, though?
Chicago's a great town. You get
Chicago's
to start
awesome.
Say you get to really start from zero and you have Caleb Williams.
Wait, can we get a confirmation on this? Is the new Bears stadium going to have a dome? I was never sure if they 100% said it, but we have to have like renderings of this thing, right?
I'm not sure.
I think it's supposed to have an enclosed roof, but isn't everything possible going wrong with the building of that new stadium? Aren't they being delayed by something?
I mean, yes, obviously. This happened. The Bills are building a new stadium, and we brought you this story a couple weeks ago that some guy was high on like every drug imaginable, like acid and cocaine, and drank a lot and smoked a lot of pot, and he fell down a hole in the construction site after he had gotten into the porta potty.
Did you want to
crazy things happen when these?
Did you want a dome in Buffalo? Did you think that would have been smart?
I want domes everywhere. I'm a dome person.
Even Buffalo with all those, the snow games and all the cool visuals of the winter.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
What's going to help you win football games? Perfect conditions for Josh Allen. That's what I want.
So I've
been waiting my
Josh
whole
Allen's
life
not
for
be there
Josh
forever.
Allen.
The stadium will be there for 40 years.
Who cares? Josh Allen's there now. Like, I've been waiting my whole life for a quarterback like Josh Allen. I Jim Kelly was amazing. I've been waiting my whole life for someone like Josh Allen. Like, you can't have him be compromised because it's snowing. That's silly.
So a roof is going to reverse 45 years of Bill's history because there's a roof there.
Is as good a shot as any.
What if Josh Allen tears his UCL and is reduced to a strictly running quarterback? Then do you want the conditions?
How dare you, Pat, even put that into the universe?
Hey, happened to Brock Purdy, and he's playing like an MVP.
Yeah,
That's another. I can't get over that, how people still don't think Brock Purdy's good. Perloff, are you of this ilk?
No, he is awesome. The long throws yesterday, I couldn't believe. First of all, his arm looks better than last year. I don't know if he did something illegal or something, but his recovery is probably the most underrated story of the season.
Brock Purdy's awesome. Here's my one thing. People started saying Brock Purdy MVP.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I can't go that far.
CMC MVP.
Wait, did you see?
Christian McCaffrey, yeah, of course.
Did you see there's a new movement out there that Brock Purdy's better than Joe Montana? That's a one that I like a lot, too.
Who is coming up with this stuff? Let's get to our shot of the day, please.
He shoots! He scores!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos Tequila is brought to you by those who drink it. So earlier in the show, little snapshot of the show, was our conversation about Raiders quarterback Aiden O'Connell, in my opinion, has a very tragic mustache. It led to a bigger conversation about mustaches, and Pat Boyle asked if my husband was rocking the mustache, what would happen?
You think you have to go through a lot of grooming and stuff? It's not that easy for men.
I hope your husband, when you walk home today, says, you know what, I think about growing a mustache.
My husband's got the full mustache beard combination.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
What if he said, I'm going straight stash?
I'd be like, I'm going to get my bags packed and probably pack our kid up too. Or I'll leave it until you come to your senses. It would be, I'm going on vacation with our 4-year-old. You can just sit with that mustache for a while and enjoy it. He might
brutal.
enjoy it. He might actually sit there, reveling in a mustache.
Sitting on a beach with a mustache, drinking a pina colada, that sounds like the life. I can't.
Get the pina colada stuck in your mustache.
Do you happen to know, do all women feel this way? Are you being particular, or do most women not like mustaches?
Well, do these women have vision? If they can see. I don't know about for women who are visually impaired. I can't speak for them.
Don't you look at a guy with a mustache and say, oh my gosh, he's basically got a lot of balls. He's got an ugly mustache. He must be very confident.
No, I'm like, that guy clearly doesn't feel good enough about his personality that he can just let the personality be the thing. You don't need a talking point.
I don't think
an
that's
icebreaker.
I think men know that it is kind of silly looking, but I think it takes a lot of confidence to rock the mustache. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a confident man. He looked great last night. Aiden O'Connell, you should see him without the mustache, Maggie.
I don't think it's going to make a difference. He's making it worse with the mustache. Am I alienating like a lot of men with my no mustache take? I feel bad because there are some mustaches that I really like. Tom Selleck, and basically it's a list of one. Tom Selleck without a mustache, I don't want to know. It's like James Harden without the beard. Okay, 855-212-4CBS. How lucky are we? All of our old friends have been calling in today to wish us luck on the new show. Here comes our pal, Sully.
Sully.
Maggie. This is early, Maggie.
You live in Las Vegas, Sully. Of course it's early. You're crazy for getting up.
Well, I got to support my friends.
How awesome.
I just talked to my new friend, Pat.
Oh, you love Pat, Sully. Sully, I need your help.
Yes.
Maggie doesn't understand the power of the male mustache.
Buddy,
Mustaches are cool, right?
Dusters are always a hit. Duster, lip sweater, those always hit, Maggie. I mean, they just showed Pat on TV. Pat needs to grow a duster.
Oh, he often does, and it's brilliant.
Oh, Pat, get the duster going. Duster always hits, Maggie.
This is a strictly male perspective here. If you want the female perspective, I can tell you women tolerate these things. We're not into them, not nearly as much as you guys.
I mean, Movember is probably my favorite because you just see all sorts of random dusters and you're like, yeah, man, look at that lip sweater. That thing's rocking. And you always get the, thanks, man, I appreciate you.
Wait, Sully, you live in Las Vegas. All I'm seeing all over social media is about the Sphere. This thing has taken over.
Guess what? Myself, the fabulous Schmoopy, our friend JJ, and JJ's wife are doing this Sunday.
Go into the Sphere?
going to YouTube to see the Sphere, and I'm trying to stay off all of the feeds that show the videos, because as soon as I see the video, I switch, I get off. I want to experience it live myself, and then I'll watch the videos. We can't wait to go.
It's like you're on another planet watching a concert. It looks so cool.
I can't wait. And our friend McLovin will tell you off air, our friend JJ and his wife, we're probably not going to sit up high. We're probably going to be in the good section.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Because I walk down the seats, Maggie. I don't know if I've ever told you my theory in life. If you're going to take me to a sporting event, I will ask where we're going. I don't walk up to my seat. I walk down. I've earned walking down.
Absolutely.
Look at you living the high life. I mean, you get a couple rides on a private jet, and all of a sudden you're too good for the nosebleeds?
But Sully, is that better than when I took you to that Gwen Stefani concert at the Super Bowl and we rocked out?
Buddy, can we talk about the Gwen Stefani when I was singing every song and you turned around and you're like, how do you know these songs? My question to you was,
every lyric.
How do you not know Gwen Stefani and No Doubt?
Oh, man, Sully, this is so cool that you got up. I know this is early. You've always been a huge supporter of the show and what we're doing. You're the best for doing it. Thank you.
I love you both. Continued success, and I'm sure we'll chat soon.
I hope so. How about that?
Bye.
Bye.
Lip sweater.
I know. Couldn't pick up there, Sully. From Boston. Yeah. He's our pal. And very good taste in the finer things in life. So.
Very stylish, and I like having his endorsement. I think this is going to be a running question. We have to sell you on mustaches.
You're not going to convert me. I'm staunchly in my corner on this one.
Bilotti, he would look great with a mustache.
You'd look like a cop.
I've tried to do it, and it doesn't work. I look terrible.
What do you mean it doesn't work?
That teenage boy look. It doesn't. No.
The crustache.
Yes.
Yes. Pete Bilotti, Pat Boyle, Andrew Bogusch, Andrew Kaplan. Phenomenal. The boat's in the water, guys. We did it. One morning show down. And we're going to set 10 more alarm clocks for tomorrow morning. Thank you so much again to everyone. We will see you tomorrow for so much more fun. Enjoy your day.